Divorce then by the shop. _2. The elderly Mrs. Mo pondered her words and asked tentatively, "Son, tell your mother truthfully, are you still hung up on Zhao Jingrong?" Mo Qishan laughed out loud. "Mother, what are you thinking about? How many times have I even met Zhao Jingrong? Don't worry, it's not her." Hearing this, the elderly Mrs. Mo finally let out a sigh of relief. As long as it's not her. Having said that, she asked again, "Do I know the girl?" Mo Qishan said, "I'll keep it a secret for now. Is it Yang Yang?" The elderly Mrs. Mo turned her head to look at Mo Qishan. Upon thinking about it carefully, over this period, Mo Qishan did spend quite a lot of time with Ai Yang. And Yang Yang was a very likable young girl. It would be normal for Mo Qishan to take a liking to Ai Yang. Instead of directly answering the question, Mo Qishan said, "I'm going up to rest first, mother, you should go to bed early too." But the elderly Mrs. Mo was not a fool, she just laughed and cursed, "Naughty boy." Lin Pingping visited the detective agency again today. This time she not only got the photos, but she also found the address of the other woman. In order to confirm that the address was correct, Lin Pingping spent half a day staking it out. In the evening, she finally saw a familiar figure walking briskly towards her. The woman was pregnant and walked over saying, "Abin? Guizhi." The two looked around cautiously before heading into the apartment. It was only after a long while that the two of them emerged from the apartment. Su Guizhi whispered in a low voice, "When are you going to divorce that ugly woman at home? Our child is about to be born, you can't just leave us out in the cold, can you?" Hong Bin said, "I want a divorce but she keeps disagreeing. As long as my heart is with you, does it really matter if we're divorced or not? Moreover, once our child is born we will need money for everything. Her family is so rich, wouldn't it be the same as cutting off my own wealth if I divorce her now? She doesn't want a divorce? Well, let her earn money for us to raise our son." Hong Bin's thoughts are more beautiful than anyone else's. One wife to make money and support the family, and another wife to continue the family lineage. Upon hearing this, Su Guizhi chuckled and said, "How do you know that it's definitely a boy?" "My mother said so. Judging by the shape of your belly, it must be a boy." The conversation between the two continued. Lin Pingping reached out and held onto a tree branch tightly, her grip so strong that her fingernails dug deep into the bark of the tree. 10 years. She had wasted 10 years of her youth on this ungrateful man. Disgusting. Lin Pingping struggled to control her rage. After a long while, she finally turned around and left. When she returned to the Hong family, it was already very late. "Why are you only coming back now?" Shen Qing said unhappily, "Go and wash the dishes." Lin Pingping kept quiet and ignored her. Hong Bin frowned deeply. "My mother is talking to you. Are you deaf?" Lin Pingping looked up at him. "Am I your family's maid?" To her recollection, Lin Pingping had never acted this way before. She had always been one to endure. If Shen Qing told her to go east, she would not dare to go west. If Shen Qing told her to go west, she would not dare to go east. For a moment, both Shen Qing and Hong Bin felt their dignity being challenged. What does Lin Pingping count as? What right does she have to throw tantrums in the Hong family's house? Hong Bin angrily said, "Lin Pingping, what are you trying to do? I'm already being nice by not rejecting you with the way you are now. And you still dare to create problems. And show no respect to seniors. My mother has been tired all day, what's wrong with her asking you to wash the dishes?" Lin Pingping smiled faintly. "May I ask, was I like this on the day I married you? Hong Bin, ask yourself, what have you given me in these 10 years? Have you fulfilled your duties as a husband? Has anyone in your family ever treated me like a human being?" Hong Bin's brow knitted and his face was filled with disgust. If it weren't for the money, he would find it disgusting to even take a second look at Lin Pingping. Complain? What does Lin Pingping have to complain about? It was Lin Pingping who pursued him in the first place, and it was Lin Pingping who insisted on marrying him. It's not like he can't find a wife. Shen Qing jumped out and cursed, "You ugly bitch, what do you mean by that? If you don't want to be in this relationship anymore, pack your things and leave the Hong family immediately. If it weren't for you insisting on marrying our Bin Bin back then, maybe he would have been successful by now. It's because of you, you jinx. You ungrateful bitch." Divorce then by the shop. 3. Your Hong family? Lin Pingping turned her head to look at Shen Qing, smiling. "How dare you say that? Have you forgotten that this apartment was bought with the money my aunt gave me? How does it have anything to do with your Hong family?" Shen Qing was livid. How dare she? This unattractive woman now dared to speak to her this way. If she didn't show her power, Lin Pingping might actually think she was a pushover. You shameless lowly woman. Are you planning on denying our ownership of this house? Divorce. I want a divorce right now. The Hong family doesn't need disgraceful people like you. Shen Qing held her head high, waiting for Lin Pingping to kneel and beg her. Previously, any mention of divorce would scare Lin Pingping half to death. Would Lin Pingping agree to a divorce? Never. Don't worry, even if you don't mention it, I want a divorce too. I've had it with your family. What? Lin Pingping wanted a divorce? At her words, the atmosphere in the room quiets immediately. Even Hong Yuanyang, busy reading the newspaper, put it down. Lin Pingping, do you have any idea what you're saying? Hong Bin looked at her in disbelief. Lin Pingping loved him so much, how could she possibly want a divorce? Was she running a fever? Lin Pingping enunciated every word. I said I want a divorce. This is my house, a house that I bought. I want you and your family out of here now. Beyond shameless. Has Lin Pingping no shame? Shen Qing was furious. She grabbed a broom and aimed it at Lin Pingping. This is my son's house, the Hong family's house. If anyone should leave, it's you, you slut. Get out now, get out. They had been living in this house for 10 years. How dare Lin Pingping try to take it from them? Impossible. Lin Pingping grabbed the broom and pushed hard. You old hag, you don't have the right to hit me. Shen Qing was unprepared. The Lin Pingping she knew wouldn't resist or talk back. Shen Qing fell over. Lin Pingping, how dare you do this to my mother? Hong Bin rushed over, grabbing Lin Pingping by the hair, his face twisted with rage. Good, very good. There was a mocking smile on Lin Pingping's face. At last she saw Hong Bin's true colors. Lin Pingping, I'm giving you one last chance. Apologize to my mother immediately. Or else this isn't over. You really think I won't dare to divorce you? In Hong Bin's eyes, Lin Pingping's demand for a divorce was nothing more than a threat to scare him. Under ordinary circumstances he wouldn't stoop to her level. But Pingping had dared to retaliate against Shen Qing. That was unacceptable. Did she have no sense of her responsibility as a daughter-in-law? Daring to retaliate. Apologize? Why should I apologize to that old hag? Not only will I not apologize, I wish that she would die soon and be reborn. Lin Pingping gritted out. Shen Qing shrieked with rage. She's out of line. Out of line. Bin, hurry, kill this bitch. Hong Bin was beyond angry. He felt his masculinity was being trampled, grabbed Lin Pingping's hair tightly, and started bashing her head against the wall. Bang, bang, bang. Soon Lin Pingping's head was bleeding profusely. Despite this, Shen Qing was still not satisfied. She grabbed a rolling pin from the kitchen and joined Hong Bin, as they both started punching and kicking Lin Pingping. Hong Yuanyang just stood by and watched. The noise woke up Hong Meiyue. She rolled up her sleeves and joined in the assault. Hit her, kill this damn woman. She dares to fight over our house. Disgusting. Shameless. No one in the family showed any mercy. Pain was spread across her whole body. Just then the door was pushed open and a few uniformed police officers walked in. Like a stream of light piercing through darkness. At that moment Lin Pingping saw hope. She shook off the punches and kicks, trying to crawl towards the police, leaving a long trail of blood on the floor. Police officer. Please help me. After saying that, she fainted. Comrade, are you all right? Two female officers rushed over to help Lin Pingping. The entire Hong family was stunned. They had not anticipated that the police would suddenly show up, especially at this moment. Shen Qing was the first one to react. She laughed and said, It's a misunderstanding. Officer, it's just a misunderstanding. We're family just having some fun. Nobody move, a stern voice came. We received an anonymous tip that the four of you are trying to murder someone. You're all coming with us. Divorce then by the shop. _4. Attempting murder. Such a grave accusation, it's too heavy for anyone to bear. Hong Meiyue burst into tears instantly. No. I didn't. Mom. I don't want to go to jail. Shen Qing was crying and making a scene, publicly throwing a tantrum. Injustice. Oh heavens, it's really unfair. Does our own family fooling around constitute a crime? The people's police aren't fooled by Shen Qing's ploy. After all, when they arrived, their family of four was causing harm to someone's life. Fooling around? And during this fooling around, blood was shed? 4 family members were forcibly taken away. Lin Pingping was sent to the hospital. The hospital examination results showed severe concussion, extensive soft tissue contusions all over her body, a fractured tibia, and deemed a critical first-degree injury. The 4 members of the Hong family suspected of murder were detained in the police station for investigation. When Madame Mo arrived at the hospital that night, she burst into tears, crying out that she was sorry for Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping lay on the hospital bed, wiping away tear stains from Madame Mo's face. "Auntie, I'm fine. Don't cry. It's not your fault, it's mine for not standing up for myself." If she had taken Madame Mo's words to heart back then, she wouldn't be in this situation today. Mo Qixin frowns deeply and lands a punch on the window. "Where is that beast? Where is he now?" The iron window frame ended up with a small dent from his punch. Lin Pingping smiles. "Qixin, don't be angry. Hong Bin and his family have been arrested. I believe that the people's police will vindicate me." "Older sister, why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" Mo Qixin turns his eyes towards Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping sighs softly, refraining from a response. Madame Mo gently pats Lin Pingping's hand. "Good girl, it's all in the past." Lin Pingping has filed a divorce lawsuit with the People's Court, producing evidence of Hong Bin's infidelity. 3 days later. News from the police station indicates that Hong Bin is sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder and rogue offenses. Shen Qing and Hong Meiyue as accomplices are sentenced to 5 years. Although Hong Yuanyang was not involved, he neither prevented it nor called the police, so he was also sentenced to a year. The court quickly passed the judgment, approving the divorce requested by Lin Pingping. All properties under both their names now belong solely to Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping lies in her hospital bed looking out at the sun, her mouth curling into a slight smile. Just like the sunshine outside, her life also gets a fresh start. Her sacrifice was certainly not in vain. Throughout her hospital stay, Lin Pingping persistently applies acne cream. Whether it's an illusion or not, she always feels that her acne has reduced quite a bit. Her complexion also isn't as red as before. Lin Pingping looks at her face in the mirror and is momentarily dumbstruck. "Pingping, it's time for dinner." Madame Mo's voice can be heard from outside the door. Even though they have a maid at home, Madame Mo insists on personally caring for Lin Pingping every day. Lin Pingping hastily puts down the acne cream, uses her crutch to get up and heads out. "Auntie. Be careful, cousin." Mo Hudi runs over to support Lin Pingping. Lin Pingping smiles. "Cousin, I'm fine." Madame Mo hands a bowl of chicken soup to Lin Pingping. "Pingping, drink your soup first." Seeing Lin Pingping's complexion, Madame Mo looks surprised. "Pingping, have you been using some medication these days? Your complexion is improving each day." "Really?" "Of course it's true." Madame Mo nods her head. After finishing the chicken soup, Lin Pingping continues. "Auntie, actually there's something else I haven't told you yet. Half a month ago, I attempted to drown myself in the lake." "What?" Madame Mo stands up in surprise. Lin Pingping holds Madame Mo's hand and speaks softly. "Auntie, don't worry, listen to me first." Lin Pingping recounts everything to Madame Mo. Madame Mo listens with trembling heart. She never expected that Lin Pingping would actually attempt to jump into a river. Luckily, a benefactor appeared. If it weren't for this benefactor, Lin Pingping would now be. As she listened, Madame Mo sensed something was not right. She grabbed Lin Pingping's hand. "Pingping, what was the name of the girl who saved you?" "Her name is Enai Yang." "Yang Yang?" Madame Mo looks surprised. "Auntie, do you know her too?" Lin Pingping is also surprised. Divorce then by the shop. 5 Mo Hudi excitedly said, "Cousin, sister Enai Yang is the one who cured me." "Is it really the same person?" Lin Pingping continued. "The Enai Yang I know, she even opened a noodle restaurant in the city." Mrs. Mo was thrilled. "It is her. And no doubt about it. Yang Yang. She even prepares breakfast for me every morning. I didn't expect Yang Yang to be so kind-hearted. She is indeed the little lucky star of our family. We must find the time to thank her properly." Lin Pingping was still a little incredulous. Mrs. Mo laughed. "I ask you, isn't Yang Yang really beautiful, and doesn't she have 2 dimples when she smiles?" Not everyone could earn Mrs. Mo's praise for being beautiful. Moreover, dimples are rare. You might meet one in 10,000 people. Lin Pingping nodded, excitedly said, "Yes, yes, yes. And we are really talking about the same person." At the moment, the niece and nephew praised Enai Yang from head to toe without hesitation. In the noodle restaurant, Enai Yang, who was busy wiping the table, inexplicably felt her ears burning. She touched her ear, it was a little hot. Wang Jinfang teased her, "Yang Yang, if your ears are hot, someone must be thinking of you." Enai Yang laughed and said, "Aunt Jinfang, all you know is joking with me. Why don't you say someone is scolding me?" Wang Jinfang said, "Yang Yang, whoever dares to scold you, your Aunt Jinfang will be the first to not let them go." At that moment, the door was pushed open, and a tall and straight figure came in from outside. Wang Jinfang gave Zhou Qingshang a wink, and the two tacitly turned and went into the back kitchen. Brother Mo. Seeing the figure, Ai Yang walked over with a smile. Yang. Mo Qishan was almost blinded by the two shallow dimples. His wife seemed to be more and more beautiful. It's all right for her to look good. Why are even her dimples so charming? Mo Qishan followed Ai Yang in, looking at Ai Yang's back. He cooled off a bit. Brother Mo, sit. Ai Yang pulled out a chair. Thank you. Mo Qishan bent over to sit down, took out several cups from his bag. Yang, these are the disposable paper cups you asked for last time, a few samples brought by my friend. Check if this is what you need. 4 paper cups in total. All were made according to Ai Yang's design, but the material and thickness were different. Ai Yang picked up 4 cups for comparison, then pointed to one of them and asked, "How much is this one, Brother Mo?" This question. Mo Qishan really hadn't thought about it. 3 for a penny. Mo Qishan hesitated a moment, then replied. After all, they are just disposable items. It would be unreasonable if they were too expensive. This price should be pretty fair, right? Is it so cheap? Ai Yang was a little surprised. Although disposable paper cups are indeed not expensive and have a low cost, the current technology in the country is still immature. Not many people can produce this type of paper cup. The price should be a bit more expensive. After all, rarity makes a thing precious. Ai Yang speculated that one had to import equipment to make them. Mo Qishan laughed. Is it still cheap? I was intending on bargaining with you. Don't think the paper cup is hard to make in other factories. But at my friend's, there is hardly any difficulty at all. As the saying goes, no cheater, no merchant. Are you worried that he will lose money? That seems to make sense. Ai Yang went on to say, then Brother Mo, could you help me order 10,000 of them? Mo Qishan nodded. Okay, remember, if I'm not around in the future, you can call this number to have them deliver. He handed Ai Yang a piece of paper with a phone number. Then I'll pay you first. Ai Yang took out 4 large notes and handed them to Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan laughed and said, well, take care of that when they arrive. There's no need to rush. By the way, Yang, when do you plan to want them? Ai Yang replied, no rush for time, just whenever they're finished. Mo Qishan nodded, okay. After discussing the important matters, Ai Yang continued, you sit and rest for a while, Brother Mo, I'll bring you something to eat. Okay. More food. Mo Qishan couldn't help but touch his chin. Could it be that his wife really regarded him as a little girl? Before long, Ai Yang brought out a tray with milk tea and other snacks. Divorce then by the shop. _6. The two sat at the table, chatting while they ate. Oh, Yang, I forgot to tell you that I bought a house. Is it in Beijing? Ai Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Yeah. Mo Qishan nodded. I plan to keep it as a dowry. Ai Yang continued, Brother Mo, if you really want to keep it as a dowry, I suggest that you should buy a house near Donghuqing River. Donghuqing River is located on the Second Ring Road in the future. In her future memories, houses within the Second Ring Road in Beijing sold for more than tens of thousands of yuan per square meter. Ordinary people couldn't afford such a house in their lifetime. But at this time, no one wanted houses within the Second Ring Road. The price per unit was only 100 yuan per square meter. It was 4 or 5 times cheaper than a commercial property. Ai Yang also planned to buy several houses along the Second Ring Road once her business started to stabilize. Mo Qishan laughed. It looks like I need to work harder to make money. Otherwise, I won't be able to afford a wife. Ai Yang lifted her cup of milk tea towards him. Let's work hard together. Mo Qishan clinked his cup with hers. Cheers to that. After leaving the noodle restaurant, Mo Qishan rode away on his bicycle, disappearing around the corner. When he reappeared, he was sitting in the back seat of a high-end car. Darning, go to the sales office. Wu Darning trembled. Brother Six, you're buying another house? Hadn't he bought enough last time? Mo Qishan took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it slowly. Last time, I bought a house near People's University. This time, I plan to buy a few near Donghuqing River. Finished speaking, Mo Qishan added, the current house price near Donghuqing River is 100 yuan per square meter. Do you want to buy one too? Wu Darning immediately shook his head. No, I've already sent my money back to my hometown for my parents to build a new house. Mo Qishan nodded. Wu Darning tentatively asked, by the way, is this house purchase also your sister-in-law's idea? Mo Qishan slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. Wu Darning glanced at Mo Qishan through the rearview mirror. He sighed softly. Why did such a smart man become stupid when he met a young girl? A moment later, Mo Chishan continued, the design for the disposable paper cups has been confirmed by your sister-in-law. You can arrange for it to go into production in the next few days, just make sure someone keeps a close eye on it. Wu Darning nodded, all right. At around 7 in the evening, Ai Yang started her end-of-day tasks. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfang were cleaning inside, while Ai Yang was cleaning up the trash outside. As she swept, a few banknotes fell to the ground. Money falling from the sky. Ai Yang looked up and saw a middle-aged woman passing by. She quickly picked up the money and caught up. Auntie, wait a moment. The middle-aged woman stopped. Young lady, what's the matter? Auntie, did you drop this money? The middle-aged woman didn't immediately reach for the money, but felt in her pocket, then said, it's mine. Thank you, young lady. You're welcome. Ai Yang handed her the money, take care. The middle-aged woman took the money, surprised. Hey, aren't you the young boss from the noodle restaurant next door? Ai Yang gave a slight smile. My name is Ai Yang, do you know me? The middle-aged woman laughed. I run the stationery shop next door. Ai Yang said, so we are neighbors, would you like to sit for a while at my place? When it comes to doing business, maintaining a good relationship with your neighbors is crucial. The middle-aged woman went on, actually we're moving out in a few days. As a matter of fact, we're selling our shop. Selling? Ai Yang continued, Auntie, can I take a look? The middle-aged woman nodded, sure, young lady, come with me. Ai Yang followed the middle-aged woman's steps. Auntie, you can just call me Yang. The two arrived at the shop next door, and the middle-aged woman turned on the lights. The shop was not very big, only about 20 square meters. There was a counter at the front, and inside there was a small table and a bed. Through the middle-aged woman's introduction, Ai Yang learned that her name was Wang Xueme, 45 years old. She and her husband had been running the stationery shop for 7 or 8 years. Because their son was living abroad permanently, the old couple planned to sell the shop and go abroad to take care of their son. Divorce, then buy the shop. 7 Wang Xueme continued, Yang, if you really want to buy it, Auntie won't haggle with you. My place is small, just 22 square meters, I don't need the things inside, give me 10,000 yuan for everything. The store that Ai Yang bought was priced at 580 yuan per square meter. 22 square meters should be around 12,760 yuan by the normal price. For Ai Yang, this was equivalent to a pie falling from the sky. Importantly, the two stores were conjoined, which would be convenient for management later on. Ai Yang nodded, okay Aunt Wang, whenever you are free, let's get the contract signed. Yang, are you really taking it? Wang Xueme was somewhat surprised. That was quick. She didn't even negotiate the price. Quite a few people had come to see Wang Zuimai's shop, but they all complained that the price was too high. The shop was second-hand and they always offered a lower price, so it hadn't been sold yet. Some people even brought the price down to 5,000 yuan. Ai Yang said with a smile, yes, I'm serious. If you don't trust me, I can pay you a deposit first. Wang Xueme, excited, grabbed Ai Yang's hand. Yang, you're not joking with Auntie, are you? Auntie, do I look like I'm joking? Wang Xueme continued, how about we sign the contract at noon tomorrow? Okay. Ai Yang nodded, I'm fine, you and Uncle decide whenever it's convenient for you. Wang Xueme laughed and said, all right, then it's settled. After this was settled, Wang Xueme laughed and took Ai Yang next door. Ai Yang said, Auntie, please wait a moment. Wang Xueme was initially stunned, then she nodded, all right. Ai Yang came out quickly, she was holding a glass bottle with brown liquid in it. Auntie, this is milk tea I made. Take it back and let Uncle try it. Wang Xueme accepted with a smile. Yang, then I want stand on ceremony. Ai Yang smiled slightly, no need to be polite. When she got home, Ai Yang told Ai Tsuehua about buying the shop. Ai Tsuehua expressed her concerns. Yang, your noodle restaurant just opened, will you be able to handle it? And buying a shop must cost a lot of money, right? Now with just one shop, Ai Yang was leaving home around 3 o'clock every morning. If she opened another shop, wouldn't Ai Yang be overwhelmed? Ai Yang was only 17 this year, and kids her age from ordinary families hadn't worked this hard before. Ai Tsuehua was really worried about her. Ai Yang said with a smile, don't worry about the money. As for whether I can handle it, we can hire someone. There are so many people in the village, there has to be someone suitable. Hearing what Ai Yang said, Ai Tsuehua was relieved. If we're hiring, I think Gooden's mom and Zaiwa's mom are pretty good. Ai Yang nodded, okay, after I pay the money tomorrow and finalize the deal, He'll go discuss it with Gooden's mom and Zaihua's mom. Oh mom, how's the aloe harvest these days? And Tsuehua replied, now it's winter and the aloe doesn't pup anymore. Everyone went to the mountains to find it. Yesterday they brought about 20 jin in total. Okay mom, remember no matter how much aloe they bring we take it all. Don't worry about stockpiling. And Tsuehua nodded her head. These days Tsuehua has learned how to make face wash and aloe gel so she can pretty much handle all of the skincare product making, and Yang doesn't need to worry about it. Yang played with little Yun for a while, then went to the kitchen to cook. First, she took out some beef bone that was bought yesterday, and half of an old mother chicken. After washing them and parboiling, she put them in the casserole to make soup. With seasonings like green onions, ginger and star anise added in, the aroma soon filled the air. Yang went to wash some greens, tofu skin, mushrooms and meatballs. While the soup was simmering, Yang prepared 3 appetizers that were good for beauty and skin nourishment. About an hour and a half later, the kitchen was filled with a fragrant aroma. After the soup was done, Yang started to blanch the rice noodles. She put the blanched rice noodles in a large bowl, layered cooked greens, tofu skin, meatballs and so on, then sprinkled some green onions, chopped garlic and cilantro, and finally poured in the well-cooked soup. If you like spicy food you can add a spoonful of chili pepper. A comforting bowl of rice noodles was ready. The rice noodles were chewy and full of taste. When you bite into it, the delicious flavor of the beef bone soup and the chicken soup infused in the rice noodles is irresistible. When Yang eats rice noodles she likes to roll them up with chopsticks. It's quite satisfying to bite into a mouthful, and the taste of the rich and flavorful soup after finishing the noodles is unspeakably delicious. Yang squinted her eyes in satisfaction, showing a slight dimple on her cheek. Besides the busy times every day, this was probably her happiest time. Jianghu ate a large bowl and then scooped up half a bowl more. Yang, these rice noodles taste really good. He absolutely loved it. Tsuehua also had 2 bowls of it. With Yang's beauty recipes they were not afraid of gaining weight. After dinner Jianghu did the dishes. Tsuehua put Yun to bed, and Yang was sent to rest. With nothing to do, Yang went back to her room and counted the money she had earned these days. She was originally planning to deposit this money in the bank tomorrow, but an unexpected opportunity fell into her lap. Yang counted and found out that her savings now totaled 15,896 yuan. She had more than 4,000 yuan when the noodle restaurant opened, and the remaining 800 yuan was earned from selling skincare products these days. In other words, the turnover of the noodle restaurant has reached 10,000 yuan in just 8 days. But after paying for the shop tomorrow, her savings will be back to square one. It's okay. Once the milk tea shop opens, her turnover is likely to double. When the money keeps rolling in, her business can grow bigger and bigger. Yang sorted out 10,000 yuan and put it in her wallet. The next morning Yang went out early. At lunch break, Yang went to the neighboring shop with the money. Wang Zuimai's husband, Zhao Xing, like Wang Xuemei, is also an honest man. Seeing Yang coming, he quickly began to make tea and take out sunflower seeds for her. Yang laughed and said, "Uncle, you don't have to fuss." Wang Xuemei said, just let him. We'll chat while drinking tea in a moment. By the way Yang, the milk tea you gave us last night was really tasty. Much better than the big pear soda sold outside. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background _1 forget about pear soda, even Waha and Jianlibo drinks don't taste as good as the milk tea made by Yang. No wonder Yang's noodle restaurant has such a long queue every day, it turns out the food and beverages are that delicious. If it were her she would be willing to queue every day. Zhao Xing came over, handed the brewed tea to Yang. Yang, have some tea. Thank you uncle. Yang stood up, took the teacup with both hands and thanked him. Zhao Xing discreetly took a good look at this young lady, full of admiration. Despite her young age, her manners, conduct and courtesy all surpassed any adult standards. How many other children would know to receive a teacup with both hands? And to stand up to give thanks? Although it's just a simple action, it embodies the 5,000-year-old history of tea etiquette in China. This little girl is destined for big things in the future. Yang took a sip from her teacup then put it down on the table. Wang Xuanyi added, Yang, although my shop is small in size, it's really well located and warm in winter, cool in summer. It's not only good for business but also for living. If it weren't for us going abroad, your uncle and I would hate to sell it. Yang continued, actually you could consider renting out the shop. By the time you and uncle decide to come back you could reclaim it. Even though she really wanted to buy the shop, she wasn't going to force anyone. Trades like these require satisfaction from both parties. Wang Xuemei smiled. This trip abroad might be permanent for us. Our son has strictly instructed us to settle everything domestically before leaving. And Yang nodded. Wang Xuemei then brought out the contract. Yang, we have prepared the contract. If there are no issues, we can sign it. The contract was produced in duplicate. And Yang took one, skimmed it carefully. After confirming there were no issues, she signed her name. Her autograph was bold and free, clean and forceful. It didn't look like a young teenage girl's handwriting at all. Zhao Sheng's 25-year-old son was an international student in M country. Even he couldn't write such good handwriting. Zhao Sheng kept his copy of the contract and said, Yang, if you're tight on money, you can first pay us 5,000 yuan. The remainder can be transferred to us via bank after we leave the country. Wang Xuemei nodded. Yes, Yang, don't worry about the money, your uncle and I are in no great rush for it. The couple knew that Yang was just a little girl who was struggling on her own. They would never be this lenient with anyone else. Since Yang didn't look like someone who would default on payments, they trusted her. Yang smiled. Thank you, uncle, thank you, auntie. However, I do have just enough money right now. I would prefer to pay everything up front to avoid any future hassles. On hearing this, the couple was taken aback. This was not a small amount. They had scrimped and saved for many years to put aside a little over 100,000 yuan. Yang had only been running her business for a few days and she had already made this much money? Moreover, this little lady was dressed simply. One would have never guessed she had 10,000 yuan on her. Yang took out the money from her bag and handed it to Wang Xuemei. Auntie, please count. The couple was momentarily stunned before they took the money from Yang. A stack of 10,000 yuan, neatly wrapped in a handkerchief. The handkerchief had a faint fragrance. From this detail alone, one can tell that the owner of the handkerchief is meticulous. After counting the money and confirming that there were no issues, they handed Yang the keys to the house. Yang, from now on this house is yours. If you can sell any of the stationery in the house, sell them. Throw away the things that you can't sell. We will accompany you to do the transfer of ownership tomorrow, as we will be leaving the day after. Yang took the keys. Uncle and auntie, I wish you a smooth journey. Wang Xuemei smiled, and we wish you prosperous business and a bright future. Yang gratefully accepted their good wishes with a smile. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background underscore. The following day, Zhao Sheng and his wife, Wang Xuemei, accompanied Yang to the local housing bureau to handle the property transfer formalities on time. The property transfer process went very smoothly. After returning from the housing bureau, Yang stood in front of the shop, the corners of her mouth curling slightly. The warm winter sun seeped through the leaves, evenly illuminating her and casting a golden glow on her. Tranquil, ethereal. Under her presence, all the pedestrians and vehicle on the street became mere backdrop. Slow down, said a man in the back seat of the car, suddenly. Oh, okay. Li Gongqing carefully slowed down. This is where Yang opened her noodle restaurant? The man spoke again. Li Gongqing replied, Yes, second master, Xiaoni currently runs a noodle shop here. Park the car, the man continued. Li Gongqing immediately pulled over to park. As soon as the car stopped, the man got out of the car. He'll step out for a moment, you wait in the car. Li Gongqing looked at the man through the rearview mirror and respectfully said, Okay, second master. The man was none other than Song Beiqing. Ever since his extravagant invitation was rejected by Yang, Song Beiqing had been quite interested in this young girl. He even once suspected that Yang was employing a clever tactic of retreat for advancement. But after a long wait, he did not see any further moves from Yang. Song Beiqing considered himself insightful towards people, but he could not see through Yang. This young girl, deep and unpredictable. Song Beiqing casually adjusted his tie, his eyes hidden behind his glasses. The golden rim of his glasses reflected a sharp light in the sun, seemingly oblivious to the closed sign hanging on the door. Without a second thought, he pushed open the glass door and entered. Yang was checking accounts at the counter. Hearing the noise, she raised her eyes slightly and said, Sorry, we are closed now. If you want to eat noodles, please come back at 2:30 in the afternoon. Wait, why does this man look familiar? Yang quietly furrowed her brows. Song Beiqing quirked the corner of his lips. Miss Anai seems to have a forgetful memory. Even I am forgotten? Meanwhile, there was a hint of disappointment in Song Beiqing's heart. Any woman who saw him would do everything possible to please him or be preoccupied with him. And I Yang, on the contrary, put him behind her mind directly. It was only then that An I Yang reacted and smiled, Mr. Song. So she still remembers him. Song Beiqing carried on as usual. Do you need anything from me? An I Yang continued to ask. An I Yang had no good impression of Song Beiqing. This man was simply the embodiment of a capitalist, thinking he could do whatever he wanted because he was rich, overbearing and autocratic. Song Beiqing casually found a spot and sat down. I don't need anything from Miss and I'm here to eat noodles. He was curious to see how good these noodles were, praised so much by Granny Mo. And I Yang pointed to the sign hanging outside the door and asked with a smile, Mr. Song, can't you read? The sign clearly stated closed. Song Beiqing smiled lightheartedly. Miss and I is correct, I really don't know how to read. And I Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Well, Mr. Song, you can at least understand human speech, right? Song Beiqing nodded. Miss and I is indeed intelligent and bright. No wonder my grandmother likes you so much. I really don't understand human speech. And I Yang nearly choked on her own saliva. She'd met shameless people before, but she'd never met anyone as shameless as Song Beiqing. Such profound skills. She decided to consider him as someone who needed special care. Wait here, and I Yang glanced at Song Beiqing once more before walking towards the kitchen. Wait a moment, Song Beiqing spoke again. And I Yang stopped in her tracks. Song Beiqing continued, Miss and I, you're not being professional. You didn't even ask the customer for dietary restrictions. And I Yang gave a slight smile and said word by word, May first ask if you have any dietary restrictions? Song Beiqing replied, I don't eat onions, ginger, or garlic. I do like a lot of cilantro and a cup of milk tea. It sounded like he was really here for a meal. And I Yang nodded, all right, please wait for a moment. A moment later, and I Yang brought a bowl of delicious pickled vegetable noodles and a cup of creamy and delightful milk tea. The sour, spicy and savory smell of sour fish hooked onto Song Beiqing's appetite instantly. Head had the finest banquet dishes and dined at overseas Michelin restaurants, but he couldn't help himself from thinking at this moment that neither the distinguished banquet dishes nor the Michelin restaurants could stack up against the aroma of the bowl of noodles in front of him. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background as initially, he only wanted to tease An I Yang, but now he was impatient to have a taste of the noodles. Song Beiqing picked up the chopsticks, picked up a few strands of noodles and put them in his mouth. The taste that met his tongue made him close his eyes contentedly. It was tangy and crispy, addictively delicious. At this point he started to understand why Granny Mo enjoyed these noodles so much. Because the taste was just too amazing. Before he knew it, Song Beiqing had finished a large bowl of noodles, even forgetting his own neat freak tendencies. Satisfying his craving for the noodles wasn't enough. Song Beiqing drank all of the noodle soup as well. At this moment, Song Beiqing was utterly conquered by the delightful food. Where was the decorum of Mr. Song? After finishing the noodle soup, Song Beiqing realized that he hadn't touched the milk tea next to him, so he picked up the cup and took a sip. The taste of the milk tea did not disappoint him either. Men usually didn't take a liking to sweet things, but this milk tea was different. It had the refreshing bitterness of tea and the richness of milk. Combined together, it was simply a pleasant surprise to the taste buds. Miss and I, Song Beiqing looked up at An I Yang, are you really not considering my previous invitation? This time, Song Beiqing was genuinely sincere. He really was smitten by An I Yang's culinary skills. An I Yang smiled lightly, does Boss Song have amnesia? Song Beiqing continued, he'll give you $1 million salary. As he said this, he held up 2 fingers. 2 million. Really throwing his money around. The girl looked so beautiful and her cooking was excellent. Bringing her back for 2 million wouldn't be a loss for him. An I Yang was silent, continuing to play with the abacus under her fingertips. 2.5 million? 3 million. 3,100,000? All that answered Song Beiqing was the click-clack of the abacus beads. Song Beiqing slightly raised an eyebrow. Could it be that she was calculating how much money she could make in 2 years, 3 years? He knew it, no one could resist the allure of money. Even An I Yang, who professed to be self-reliant, couldn't refuse this astronomical sum. No need to calculate, Song Beiqing continued. 1 year is 3, 1 million, 2 years is 6, 2 million, 3 years is 9, 3 million, 10 years is 31 million. But An I Yang acted as if she hadn't heard Song Beiqing's words, continuing to play with her abacus. Why wasn't she speaking? Song Beiqing frowned. Could she have been scared dumb by these large figures? Indeed, her bowl of noodles only sells for 3 cents a pop. She'd have to sell 100 million bowls of noodles to earn back 31 million. 100 million bowls of noodles, enough for her to sell for a lifetime. Song Beiqing chuckled, Miss and I, why aren't you speaking? Don't worry, Song, don't have many good qualities, but one never go back on my word since I promised a salary of 3.01 million, I will definitely keep it. If you... Just then Anai Yang slightly lifted her head, interrupting Song Beiqing's unfinished words. Mr. Song, one know you're filthy rich and could easily rival a country's wealth. If you're really worried about having too much cash on your hands, there are still many impoverished areas in China waiting for your kind donations, so could you stop toying with me? This person really has issues. Song Beiqing thought she seriously believed he was just making fun of her, and quickly clarified, Miss and I'm serious, I'm not making fun of you. Is 3 million that much? When had he ever spent less than 3 million on a woman? Anai Yang laughed. If our paths do not cross, we do not become conspirators. Mr. Song, if you've finished your food, could you leave quickly? One planned to take a noon break. She refused again. Anai Yang actually refused him again. But this time, Song Beiqing wasn't planning to back down. He didn't believe that Anai Yang would really give up the 3 million. Song Beiqing stood up, faced Anai Yang and spoke slowly, Miss Anai, I only give one chance, I hope you don't regret it. When his sentence ended, Song Beiqing turned and walked away. The clear lens of his glasses concealed well all the emotions in his eyes. Simultaneously, Song Beiqing was silently counting to 3 in his heart. He believed that by the time he counted to 3 she would definitely call out to stop him. Because he really knew women too well. Just as he thought, when he finished counting 2, Anai Yang caught up with his steps. Wait. A small smile tugged at Song Beiqing's lips. He pushed his glasses up and turned to look at Anai Yang. He was about to chide her, but Anai Yang stretched out her hand and spoke before him. Boss Song, if you can afford a salary of 3.01 million, surely you wouldn't mind paying the 60 cents for the noodles? Chapter 218. Became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background _4. What? Anai Yang came to ask him for the bill? This development seems off, doesn't it? Could it be that Anai Yang didn't regret it and came to catch up with him? Song Beiqing was dumbfounded. What's the matter? Anai Yang looked at Song Beiqing and continued, You're not planning on dining and dashing, are you, Mr. Song? A shallow dimple appeared at the corner of her mouth, and her bright peach blossom eyes, mischievous like a cat's, caused Song Beiqing to become transfixed. Mr. Song? Anai Yang spoke again. Song Beiqing finally snapped out of it and took out a large unity note from his pocket. No need for change. Anai Yang fished out some spare change from her pocket and forced it into Song Beiqing's hand. Don't worry, Mr. Song, we are not some kind of black shop. Song Beiqing looked at Anai Yang. Anai Yang, you really don't regret it? Anai Yang made a pleased gesture. Mr. Song, take care. Song Beiqing took a step forward. Anai Yang, I will never give you a second chance, are you sure? Anai Yang firmly shut the door. Through the glass door, Song Beiqing saw her immediately turn around and go into the kitchen. She didn't even look back at him. Song Beiqing narrowed his eyes, and through the lens of his glasses, a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. Is it that there really are people in this world who don't love money, or was his offer not enough? 3 million, it really wasn't a small amount. This girl had shattered the image of other girls had known before. Song Beiqing held the money in his hand, maintaining his usual expression while returning to his car. Xiaoli, let's go. Without saying anything more, Li Gongqing naturally didn't dare to ask any questions. The car quickly departed from the avenue lined with Chinese parasol trees. Anai Yang went into the kitchen and told Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfeng about purchasing the adjacent shop. Aunt Zhou and Jinfeng, the previous owner, left some old furniture and daily necessities behind in the neighboring shop. Go have a look and see if there's anything you can use. If there is, feel free to take it with you when you head home later. Wang Jinfeng wiped her hands on her apron, looking a bit embarrassed. Yang, don't you want them? Zhou Qingshang also said, Yes, Yang, keep them for yourself. Anai Yang laughed and said, We bought new pots, bowls and dishes when we moved, so it would be a waste to bring more back. Come on, I'll take you there. At this time, life in the countryside was not easy. Even scraps of old cloth could be put to use, not to mention pots, bowls and dishes. Wang Jinfeng and Zhou Qingshang happily took several daily necessities they could use. This family must have been so rich. They left behind so many good things. Yeah, I see many items are still brand new. People in the city are rich. While taking stuff, the two marveled. Anai Yang saw that besides daily necessities, pots and pans, There were also a lot of unopened stationery and school bags. She found 2 snake skin bags to pack all the school bags and stationery. After she finished cleaning the room, it was time to open for business. And Yang began to get busy again. When she came home that night, she showed Tsuehua the stationery and school bags she had brought back. Tsuehua said, Yang, let me pick a nice little school bag for Yun. Then give the rest to the other children in the village. It's a waste to keep them at home. Yang smiled and said, Mom, you're thinking what I'm thinking. Yang called Gooden over, who then called other kids to come. In no time, Ni's small courtyard was bustling with children. At that time, the school bags that the children used were made by their grandparents or mothers. They were simple designs, made by splicing scraps of cloth into a bag and attaching a strap. As long as they could carry it on their shoulders, it was enough. Having a backpack like the ones in their textbooks was a dream many children yearned for. Wow, this school bag is beautiful, just like the ones I saw in the city. Thank you, Sister Yang. Sister Yang, you're so kind. Tutu and Yang laughed. In addition to the school bags, Sister Yang also wants to give each of you a pencil box, 3 pencils and an eraser. But, she paused here, you have to promise Sister Yang one thing. Sister Yang, tell us. Chapter 219 became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background as Yang continued, you must promise Sister Yang, study hard, strive for progress every day, and become a useful person in the future. Gooden scratched his head in puzzlement. Sister Yang, why do we need to study hard? If we don't study hard, does it mean we won't be a useful person in the future? With a slight smile, Yang squatted down and looked into Gooden's eyes. Studying hard will grant you the power to choose your future, to choose meaningful and liberating work, rather than being forced to survive. When you feel your job is meaningful, you will feel accomplished. When your job leaves you time to live your life, you will have dignity. Accomplishment and dignity bring you happiness. A meaningful job makes you a useful person. Rather puzzled, Gooden nodded. All right, I'll take Sister Yang's advice, and I will study hard and strive for progress every day. Although Gooden didn't entirely understand her words, he knew that following Sister Yang's advice couldn't go wrong. Yang reached out and touched Gooden's little head. The other children seriously responded, Don't worry, Sister Yang, we will all study hard and become useful people in the future. We'll earn a lot of money to buy a lot of delicious food and fun things for Sister Yang. In this era, many scrumptious and fun things are unattainable dreams for these children. Even though they don't currently have the ability, they can't wait to dedicate the best things to Yang. After distributing the backpacks and stationery to the children, Yang went to Zhou Qingshang's house to discuss the decoration of the new store with Wang Tiniu. Yang said, Uncle Tiniu, let's hire the same guys as last time, the wages and construction period remain the same. Yang took out the money and placed it on the table. Wang Tiniu stood up and said, According to your aunt, this shop is half the size of the last one. It doesn't require that many days or that many people. Yang laughed and said, Let's just stick to this arrangement. The new year is coming and I hope that we all can earn a little extra to have a good time. There isn't much farming work in winter. Everyone, apart from those still hunting for aloe vera on the mountain, is idle at home. However, with the aloe vera supply nearly exhausted, this money from Yang is like timely rainfall relieving many people's pressing needs. This money would undoubtedly make everyone's new year more prosperous. With this, they would have prestige when visiting friends and relatives. Wang Tiniu held Yang's hand emotionally saying, Yang, on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you. Yang smiled lightly, Uncle Tiniu, you're earning the money in exchange for your labor, there is no need to thank me. After sorting out these matters, Yang left the Wang family. Wang Tiniu, on the other hand, went around spreading the good news. In the village, each house is adjacent to the other. At this moment, everyone was coming out, standing at their door discussing something quietly. Yang is such a good girl, she has helped us so much, they've been living in our village for such a long time now, shouldn't we also try and help them? Exactly, Lu Laolu, you seldom speak wisely but you certainly did this time. So how can we help them? Let's help them apply for a residential plot, let them become bona fide residents of our village. I think that's reasonable too. How about we all head to the village council tomorrow? There's strength in numbers. We can definitely secure a residential plot for Yang's family. Lu Laolu, you should take the lead. Okay, Lu Laolu patted his chest. Tomorrow noon at 12:001 we'll go door to door. None of you can back out. Anyone who does is a coward. With the way you're talking, how could we possibly back out of this? Everyone discussed and swiftly settled the matter. At this moment, Yang was cooking at home, oblivious of the villagers' actions. The next day during lunchtime, Yang found time to visit the detective agency. Upon seeing Yang arrive, Xiaozhou greeted her immediately, "Miss Yang nodded in acknowledgement, dispensing with the small talk. She went straight to the point. "How's the investigation coming along?" Xiaozhou beamed, "Miss rest assured, the detectives in our agency are as good as their reputation." Chapter 220 became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xiangxian's background _6. Yang handed over the prepared 500 yuan. "This is the final payment." Xiaozhou took the money and pointed to a chair. "Miss please sit down. Let me explain everything to you slowly." Yang leaned forward to sit down. Xiaozhou poured a cup of tea for Yang. "Thank you." Yang picked up the cup and took a gentle sip. Xiaozhou looked at Yang, sighing inwardly. A beauty is a beauty, even her tea-drinking gesture is beautiful. Xiaozhou was momentarily distracted before transitioning into the main topic. "The Li Shu you asked me to investigate last time is a rustic from Haiqing City. At 18 she was pregnant before getting married to a local thug named Sun Shiwu. At 19 she gave birth to a daughter named Sun Dalian. But Sun Shiwu is addicted to gambling, so Li Shu's married life was unhappy. 3 years ago, Li Shu suddenly ran away with her 17-year-old daughter Sun Dalian. According to our investigation, she is now married to a man from Dam Village, with the surname of Mu. She just had a son not long ago. But her daughter Sun Dalian seems to have disappeared from the face of the earth." Upon hearing this, Yang slightly narrowed her eyes. So, Li Shu really had a daughter. How much truth had she missed in her previous life? What about Li Xianxian? Yang continued to ask. Xiaozhou continued, "Li Xianxian is 20 years old this year and is currently studying at Beijing Institute of Technology. According to her school registration records, she is an orphan who grew up in an orphanage. Oh, by the way, a year ago while she was in school, she displayed her bravery by helping the old lady Mo who had been robbed, even saving her life. So, Miss I advise you not to set your sights on Li Xianxian. The Mo family isn't someone we can afford to offend." Yang maintained her composure, asking, "Do you have Sun Shiwa's specific address?" "Yes." Xiaozhou nodded and handed Yang a document bag. "In here is Sun Shiwa's family situation as well as his detailed address." "Thank you." Yang reached out and took it. Xiaozhou smiled and said, "You're welcome, it's our duty." Yang's gaze swept over Xiaoza's features. Then she said, "Mr. Zhou, have you been losing your appetite and suffering from insomnia recently?" Yes. Xiaozhou immediately nodded. "Miss how did you know?" Yang gave a faint smile. "I happen to know a bit of traditional Chinese medicine." Xiaozhou asked, "Then Miss is there any hope for my situation?" He had been suffering from insomnia for a long time, causing him to be lifeless for any work. He had visited the hospital several times and was given many sleeping pills by Western doctors. Initially, a few sleeping pills worked, but gradually even sleeping pills didn't work. Yang said with a smile, "It's not that serious. In your case, you just need to buy some sour jujube kernels from the pharmacy, use 15 to 30 grams each time, crush it and boil with water until it becomes a paste. Drink it before bed every night." Xiaozhou exclaimed in surprise, "Is it that simple? Does this really work?" Yang nodded, "It's that simple." Yang isn't a talkative person, and she wouldn't have given advice for such a small problem. However, Xiaozhou is a detective, and he knows many things ordinary people don't. Building a good relationship with a detective isn't easy, and this was a perfect opportunity. An opportunity to win people's hearts. The wider her social circle gets, the more people she can approach when she encounters difficulties in the future. Of course, whether to believe it or not is up to Xiaozhou. As soon as she finished speaking, Yang took her stuff and left. Watching her leaving figure, Xiaozhou scratched his head in confusion. In the evening when he passed by a traditional Chinese medicine store on his way home, he couldn't help but recall Yang's words. Anyway, buying some sour jujube kernels was not that tough. Let's buy some then. What if it really works? When Xiaozhou came out of the traditional Chinese medicine store again, he had an extra bag of sour jujube kernels in his hand. That night, Yang lay in her bed, thinking about the matters regarding Li Shu, Sun Dalian and Li Xianxian. She now has a bold hypothesis. If Sun Dalian is Li Xianxian and Li Xianxian is Sun Dalian, then the mother-daughter relationship between Li Xianxian and Li Shu would hold true. The reason why she was tricked by the Mu family into marrying an eunuch was also orchestrated by Li Shu. And in her previous life the person she saw at the moment of death was Li Xianxian. Could this mean that Li Xianxian, like herself, had also been reborn? Except, Li Xianxian had already been reborn in her previous life. Moreover, the reason for Li Shu's marriage to the Mu family was also because Li Xianxian wanted to keep herself in check. Chapter 221 became the favorite in the village, found out about Li Xianxian's background. 7 After all, this mother-daughter duo were both hoping to see her dead. With that thought, Yang sat up on her bed with a start, like a carp leaping up from water. She grabbed the glass on her nightstand and gulped down a large mouthful of water. What was Li Xianxian's motive to harm her? In her previous life she had barely any direct contact with Li Xianxian. Li Xianxian, Yang squinted her eyes, a glimmer of light flashing in her pupils. Right, wasn't Li Xianxian most concerned about the Mo family? Then she will first dismantle the Mo family's trust in her. A fox, after all, will show its tail one day. Air. A shrill scream tore through the silence of the early morning. What's wrong? What's wrong? Ping Ping, what's wrong? The old Mrs. Mo pushed open the door, rushing into Lin Pingping's room with anxiety. Ever since Lin Pingping was discharged from the hospital, she had moved into the Mo family's villa. Auntie, look at my face. Lin Pingping was so excited she was beside herself. Under the light, Lin Pingping's face was glowing, perfectly blending shades of white and pink. There wasn't a single pimple or even a pimple mark in sight. Her skin was soft and smooth like tofu. It's better? It's better? Old Mrs. Mo covered her mouth in astonishment, her voice trembling. Ping Ping, your face is better. Lin Pingping jumped up in joy. Auntie, I'm healed. My face is finally healed. The aunt and niece embraced, crying, Ping Ping, your pain has finally turned sweet. Lin Pingping's voice choked up, unable to say anything. After a while she finally said, all thanks to Yang, without her I would never have today. Had it not been for Yang saving her, for Yang awakening her, for Yang generously giving her the acne cream, Lin Pingping could not even imagine where she would be now. Perhaps she would already be a corpse at the bottom of a lake. Even if she had lucidly survived, she might still be the servant of the Hong family. Yang was like a beacon of light guiding her way in life. Without Yang she would still be lost in the darkness. Old Mrs. Mo gave a long sigh. Yang is a lucky star for our family. I hope that number 6 can show some spirit, put forth some effort and marry Yang home early. Upon hearing this, Lin Pingping looked surprised. Auntie, are you saying that number 6 likes Yang? Yang is such a beautiful girl, said old Mrs. Mo with a chuckle. Not just number 6, even one like her when I see her. Upon finishing her sentence, old Mrs. Mo looked a little worried, just unsure whether Yang has feelings for number 6. Just then a rush of footsteps came from outside the door. Mrs. Mo. Mrs. Mo. What is it? Old Mrs. Mo turned her head to look at the maid. Speak slowly if something is wrong. The maid continued, we just received a call from the hospital. Miss Xianxian has now awoken. Old Mrs. Mo looked excited. Really? Indeed. The maid nodded. Old Mrs. Mo clutched Lin Pingping's hand tightly and laughed. Oh my, it's such a blessed day, all the good news came at once. Li Xianxian has woken up and Lin Pingping was extremely happy too. Great auntie, let's go to the hospital and see Xianxian. Yes, old Mrs. Mo agreed. Let's bring Baichuan along and go together. Mo Baichuan, who was busy at the base camp, was called home by old Mrs. Mo with a phone call. Upon hearing the news that Li Xianxian had awakened, he was first taken aback. Then, inexplicably, his mind went to Yang. Li Xianxian was Yang's love rival, and knowing that Li Xianxian had woken up would certainly make Yang very angry. So what if Yang didn't save Li Xianxian? She's not the only doctor in the world. Originally, Mo Baichuan had refused to see Li Xianxian, but instead, thinking of Yang, he decided to go. Though Li Xianxian had awoken, she was incredibly frail, her face was pale as a sheet, even her lips were white. Upon seeing Mo Baichuan, Li Xianxian felt a surge of joy, her heartbeat quickened. She knew that she must exist in Mo Baichuan's heart. Otherwise, an arrogant man like Mo Baichuan would never bend to visit a woman in the hospital. Xianxian, you're finally awake. Old Mrs. Mo held Li Xianxian's hand tightly. You have no idea how worried I've been these past few days. Li Xianxian burst into tears. I'm sorry, Grandma, I failed you. If it weren't for me, shout I wouldn't. I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry. Oh, you silly child, this is not your fault. It's our own doing that led to this. Old Mrs. Mo said gently, patting Li Xiangxian's back. Xianxian, don't worry or blame yourself. Xiaodai is okay now. What? Li Xianxian went rigid, thinking she must have misheard. Mo Hudi is alive? Mo Hudi is actually alive. How could Mo Hudi be alive? Li Xianxian had put on an appearance of utter despair, so nobody noticed her abnormal reaction. Li Xianxian took a moment to compose herself before she managed to choke out, Grandma, is Xiaodai really okay? Please don't try to comfort me by, old Mrs. Mo laughed. Silly child, why would I lie to you about such a thing? Not only is Xiaodai okay, she has been running around energetically and can even start school next year. What the hell happened? Could she have made a mistake? Li Xianxian hugged old Mrs. Mo, crying, That's great, Xiaodai is safe, Xiaodai is safe. It's all right, it's all right. Wiping her tears, Li Xianxian continued, Grandma who saved Xiaodai, please tell me, I need to thank them. Old Mrs. Mo laughed. Speaking of it, she's really a lucky star for our Mo family. Not only did she save Xiaodai, but she also helped Ping Ping and even saved me before. From old Mrs. Mo's expression, Li Xianxian could see how much she liked that lucky star. She liked her even more than she liked Li Xianxian. Old Mrs. Mo has never called her a lucky star. What on earth happened while she was in a coma? Chapter 222 Changing views on Ni Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's birthday banquet. For a moment, countless thoughts rushed through Li Xiangxian's mind. Just thinking that someone had taken her place during her unconscious state was unbearably upsetting for her. Just then Lin Pingping entered the room through the door. Xianxian. Aunt Ping. Li Xianxian looked up at Lin Pingping, but was stunned the moment she looked at her. What was going on? How did Lin Pingping's face get better so suddenly? Aunt Ping. Li Xianxian covered her mouth in surprise. Your face is healed? Lin Pingping nodded with a smile. Yes, my face is healed. The old lady Mo chuckled. Pingping's face was also cured by that lucky star. Oh, our Mo family is so fortunate to have met him in this life. Him again? Li Xianxian contained her anger and tightly clutched the bedsheet beneath her. Regret filled her. She regretted not helping Lin Pingping sooner. She clearly had a way to cure acne too. Initially, Li Xianxian wanted Lin Pingping to suffer a bit more because only after Lin Pingping suffered enough, would she feel more gratitude towards Li Xianxian when she extended a helping hand. She would be seen as a lifesaver. But Li Xianxian never expected that someone would swoop in and steal the credit that belonged to her while she was unconscious. Who exactly is that lucky star? Li Xiangxian's gaze was filled with malevolence as she hung her head low. She absolutely wanted to kill this lucky star to vent her anger. After a moment, Li Xianxian looked up at Lin Pingping and smiled. Congratulations to Aunt Ping then. Lin Pingping smiled back. Thank you. Old Lady Mo turned to Mo Baichuan. Chuan, you go ask Dr. Wang if Xianxian can be discharged now. Mentioning Mo Baichuan, Li Xiangxian's eyes softened. She had lost too much. No matter what, she couldn't afford to lose Mo Baichuan anymore. Mo Baichuan nodded and left the room. The ward was too stuffy. Especially seeing Li Xiangxian's infatuated face, Mo Baichuan felt more annoyed. He didn't understand why all the girls had the same expression when they saw him. Except for one person who was different. Suddenly, an image of a beautiful face came to Mo Baichuan's mind, making his heart flutter. After Mo Baichuan left, old lady Mo chuckled. Xianxian, I've never seen Chuan care this much about any girl before. You're the first. Li Xianxian playfully pouted. Grandma, don't tease me. Lin Pingping added, I also think that our Baichuan treats Xianxian differently. At her words, Li Xiangxian's eyes gleamed with triumph. Mo Baichuan would never spare a glance at other girls outside, but now he was willing to see Dr. Wang personally for her. If this spreads out, she'll be the object of everyone's envy. Soon the door of the ward was pushed open again. Li Xianxian looked up joyfully. Without surprise she saw Mo Baichuan's stern face. No matter when, Mo Baichuan always looked expressionless. Aloof. Li Xianxian just adored his cold and detached demeanor. Every time Li Xianxian saw Mo Baichuan like this, she lost control of herself. After all, which woman wouldn't love a man with power, wealth, beauty and prestige? Li Xianxian gazed at him lovingly, her eyes brimming with adoration. Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. The moment his eyes grazed over Li Xianxian, they filled with a hint of disgust. Dr. Wang held Li Xiangxian's medical records and said, My lady Miss Li can be discharged from the hospital now, but she needs time to recover and must not be disturbed. Old lady Mo nodded. All right. I understand. Chuan, did you hear what the doctor said? Old Lady Mo turned to Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan nodded. One heard. Old Lady Mo continued, since you heard, then you will take Xian Xian home. Remember what Dr. Wang said, she can't work during this period, and you need to help her take a leave from school as well. Mo Baichuan wanted to refuse, but thinking of Ni Yang, he swallowed his words of rejection. Ni Yang doesn't like Li Xianxian, doesn't he? So, he wanted to show an affinity for Li Xianxian. Let Ni Yang be jealous of Li Xianxian. Jealousy makes people ugly. Then, Ni Yang will eventually reveal his feelings for him. Chapter 223 Changing Opinions about Ni Yang, Granny Mo's Birthday Banquet _2. Yes, exactly like that. Meanwhile, Li Xianxian expectantly looked at Mo Baichuan. She was wagering whether Mo Baichuan would agree with the old Mrs. Mo. If he did, it meant that he was indeed treating her differently. Sure, Granny. He agreed. Mo Baichuan had agreed to take her home. Li Xianxian's heart was beating so fast with excitement that she even forgot that there was another little angel in the Mo family. Mr. Mo, thank you, said Li Xianxian, looking at Mo Baichuan with shyness in her eyes. The expression on Mo Baichuan's face was somewhat indifferent. No problem. Old Mrs. Mo teased, Xianxian, you and Chuan have known each other for so long, why are you still calling him Mr. Mo? That's so formal. You should just call him Baichuan. Calling Mo Baichuan by his name? Li Xianxian was overjoyed, but she managed to control her emotions. She looked cautiously at Mo Baichuan. Can I? Sure. Mo Baichuan suppressed his distaste and nodded. He wanted to show Ni Yang how good and special he was to Li Xianxian. Otherwise he couldn't provoke Ni Yang. Li Xianxian was so thrilled she didn't know what to say. She was probably the first girl in history who could call Mo Baichuan by his name. This felt absolutely glorious. Both older Mrs. Mo and Lin Pingping had smiles in their eyes. Although Mo Baichuan didn't do anything special for Li Xianxian, anyone could tell that he was treating her differently. Normally, would Mo Baichuan allow a young girl to call him by his name? Mo Baichuan had driven here. He saw old Mrs. Mo and Lin Pingping off to the car carrying Li Xianxian. Seeing Li Xianxian get into the co-driver's seat, Mo Baichuan's face immediately darkened. She was too presumptuous. Did she think he was blind to be interested in someone like her? Suppressing the anger in his heart, Mo Baichuan leaned into the car. Granny Aunt, you go back first. I'll take care of Xianxian. Xianxian? Did she hear it wrong? Mo Baichuan actually called her Xianxian. Li Xianxian's face took on a rosy hue immediately. Mo Baichuan had kept his emotions hidden deep. Clearly he was very fond of her. Previously he always pretended as if he was indifferent. His current transformation had to do with the near-death incident she just went through. Because he can no longer bear the fear of loss. Although Mo Hudi wasn't eliminated, this could still be considered a blessing in disguise. That Mo Baichuan realizes he likes her, indicating that her wrist wasn't cut for nothing. With this thought, Li Xianxian felt much better and a smile appeared on her face. The old Mrs. Mo cheerfully said, all right, drive slowly on the road. Sure. Mo Baichuan held his patience, waved goodbye to old Mrs. Mo, and then the car slowly disappeared from their sight as he stepped on the gas. Once the car windows were closed, a deathly silence fell inside the car. Mo Baichuan silently stared at the steering wheel, his grim expression could scare anyone to death. Li Xianxian glanced at him from the corner of her eye, wanting to say something but didn't dare to. Although she knew Mo Baichuan liked her, his temperament was rather eccentric. It would be better for her to avoid provoking him as he could easily turn a cold shoulder if slighted. Their relationship was still unstable, it was best to take things slowly, one step at a time. Shortly after, they arrived at their destination. After parking the car, Mo Baichuan had no intention of getting out. What was he planning to do? Stay in the car with her and make a conversation? After realizing this is what could be happening, Li Xianxian's face quickly turned crimson. Li Xianxian bit her lip, feeling inexplicably nervous as Mo Baichuan did not speak and she was too shy to say anything. A woman should always be reserved. Since Mo Baichuan liked her, he should be the one to initiate conversation. After what seemed like a long time, Mo Baichuan finally spoke. Get out of the car. Although it was only 2 words, they were laced with coldness that startled Li Xianxian and she almost fell off her seat. Get out of the car? She turned her head in surprise to look at Mo Baichuan. Why was this happening? Why would Mo Baichuan ever ask her to get out of the car? Does Mo Baichuan have no other things to say to her? Ball, Baichuan? Mo Baichuan's face was expressionless but his words were icy cold. I told you to get out of the car. Chapter 224 Changing Views on Ni Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's Birthday Banquet _3. Li Xianxian looked at him a bit aggrieved. Baichuan, did I do anything wrong that made you angry? I can change, can you stop being angry, okay? Mo Baichuan's face was gloomy. Get out of the car, don't make me repeat a third time. Li Xianxian knew Mo Baichuan all too well. She knew that this was a sign that Mo Baichuan was about to lose his temper. If she didn't get out of the car now, Mo Baichuan might even resort to physical force next. She had better get out first. It was already really nice for her to be able to ride with Mo Baichuan today. After all, who in Beijing has ever sat in Mo Baichuan's passenger's seat? Big shots always have a bit of a temper, don't they? Otherwise, how could they be called big shots? As long as she was in Mo Baichuan's heart, it was okay for her to tolerate a bit of his temper. After weighing the pros and cons, Li Xianxian got out of the car. She looked affectionately at Mo Baichuan. Baichuan, I'll go now then. Please drive carefully on the road. Slam. Before Li Xianxian could finish her sentence, Mo Baichuan had already closed the car door. With a step on the accelerator, his car vanished from Li Xianxian's sight. As Li Xianxian watched the direction where the jeep disappeared, a faint smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Mo Baichuan, to use a trendy term, was deeply introverted but passionate. Although he was obviously very fond of her, he always acted as if he didn't care at all. Didn't he know that tormenting his wife was pleasurable in the short term but chasing her to the crematorium in the end? Just wait and see, one day she would have Mo Baichuan completely under her thumb. After saying goodbye to the old lady of the Mo family, Lin Pingping went to a salon. When she came out of the salon again, her once beautiful long hair was now short and neat, and the gloomy aura that used to surround her was gone. She looked completely reborn. Lin Pingping went straight to Ni Yang's noodle restaurant. At the time, Ni Yang was making milk tea. Yang. Hearing someone calling her, Ni Yang looked back, almost not recognizing Lin Pingping. Aunt Pingping? It's me. Lin Pingping walked over and hugged Ni Yang. Yang, thank you. You're welcome. Ni Yang hugged back Lin Pingping, then said, Aunt Pingping, please come and sit with me. The two came to the front hall and sat down by the window. Lin Pingping narrated to Ni Yang everything that happened after she returned to the Hong family. Hearing this, Ni Yang was amazed. Who could imagine that Lin Pingping, who looked so tender and weak, could be so brave and decisive? To have Hong been sentenced to life imprisonment was not something the average woman could do. Aunt Pingping, Ni Yang lifted her milk tea cup. Congratulations on getting out of the darkness of your former life. Thank you. Lin Pingping clinked cups with her. Setting down her cup, Lin Pingping then said, By the way, Yang, have one more thing to tell you. Go on. Lin Pingping excitedly said, The Mo Hudy you saved before is my cousin. The old Ms. Mo is my aunt, and Mo Chishan is my cousin. Hearing this, Ni Yang was surprised. Really? Absolutely. It's destiny. Yang, we were meant to meet each other. I believe that in the near future, our relationship will be more than just good friends. Who knows, if Mo Chishan wins Ni Yang over, they might even become family. Ni Yang didn't think that much, she just felt that destiny was indeed a wonderful thing. The two chatted for a while longer, and then Lin Pingping grabbed Ni Yang's hand. Yang, recently there have been a lot of people at our hospital wanting to buy your acne cream. Do you sell it? Ni Yang nodded. Yes, I not only sell the acne cream but also the spot removing cream. Recently, I even developed a skin whitening product. Lin Pingping was excited. Really? Ni Yang nodded. Yes, let me get you some samples. A moment later, Ni Yang brought over a small cardboard box containing face cleanser, aloe vera gel, acne cream, spot removing cream, and a recently developed skin whitening and hydrating cream. As Lin Pingping had only used the acne cream before, Ni Yang took the time to introduce the effects of the other products one by one. Lin Pingping was born into a wealthy family and her girlfriends were also no ordinary people. So Ni Yang took special care to introduce the whitening moisturizing cream. Ni Yang had tried it herself, and the effect of this whitening moisturizing cream was excellent. Because the production process was a bit complicated, the price was also higher, 108 yuan per box. It was perfect for affluent people. In a skincare product line, there always needs to be an impressive luxury item to represent the brand. So, she had developed this whitening and moisturizing cream. Chapter 225 Changing Views on Ni Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's Birthday Banquet _4. Take for instance the famous skincare brand La Mer, which is a subsidiary of Estée Lauder. Estée Lauder's prices are affordable for the average person, but La Mer could be a little out of their price range. Lin Pingping expressed her surprise. Does this skin whitening moisturizer really whiten skin? There isn't a woman who doesn't fancy fair and rosy skin. No matter whether they're white or yellow-skinned, all women hope their skin can become fairer, better. And Yang responded with a smile. You can see the results by trying the sample at home. Lin Pingping continued, alright, I'll get 1 set of this skincare product and 8 acne creams for my colleagues. Okay. And Yang packed a bag full of skincare products for Lin Pingping and added a pile of samples. Yang, how much do all these cost? Lin Pingping asked. And Yang answered with a smile. Cleanser is 15 yuan, aloe gel and acne cream are 20 yuan each, the skin whitening moisturizer is a little more expensive at 108 yuan. The total comes to 303 yuan, you can pay 300 yuan. Her mental arithmetic was pretty good. It would usually take a minute or two for a regular person to calculate these prices, but Yang gave the answer immediately without thinking. Lin Pingping was secretly surprised. She pulled out 400 yuan from her pocket and gave them to Yang. Yang gave Lin Pingping change, but Lin Pingping refused, insisting she had already taken too much advantage of Yang. She had previously spent thousands of yuan trying to treat her face, let alone 400 yuan. Yang, I'll leave first, bye. Lin Pingping ran out the door and waved at Yang. Left with no choice, Yang had to abandon the idea of giving change and waved back at Lin Pingping. Once back, Lin Pingping washed her face eagerly with the cleanser and applied the skin whitening moisturizer. As though affected by some psychological factor, just after applying the moisturizer, Lin Pingping felt her skin becoming much brighter. But the actual result would only reveal itself over time. Lin Pingping followed Yang's instructions and patted her face in front of the mirror. Ring ring. A series of urgent alarm tones woke up the person still in a deep sleep. The person groggily turned off the alarm, and was jolted upright when they saw the time on the clock. It was already 12:30. They had actually slept until 12:30. It was utterly terrifying. They quickly got up, dressed, brushed their teeth, washed their face, picked up their briefcase and rushed out the door. A passing subordinate greeted him, "Shou, you look pretty good today." Only when Xiao Zhou arrived at the detective agency did he realize that he had actually fallen asleep last night and had overslept this morning. For someone who had been suffering from insomnia for half a month, it felt better than winning a 5 million yuan lottery. Xiao Zhou, feeling refreshed, sat on the leather sofa and made himself a cup of tea. He decided to drink more sour jujube tea that night. He hadn't expected the sour jujube tea to have any effect, but after just one day his sleep improved significantly. It turned out that Yang did have some skills. Problems that the doctors in big hospitals failed to solve were resolved by Yang with just a prescription of sour jujube tea. He would remember this favor in his heart. Yang didn't sleep well last night. She spent the entire night thinking about Li Xianxian and then she had a dream. She dreamt of her past life, seeing a woman with a blurry face pushing her off the balcony of the 36th floor. She died on the spot. Yang couldn't forget the gruesome scene. Was it a dream or was it reality? Moreover, she had a feeling that the woman who pushed her off the building was Li Xianxian. However, Yang still couldn't figure out why Li Xianxian would harm her. "Boss, you've made a mistake. One only wanted 2 bowls of noodles, you gave me an extra one." The customer's reminder brought Yang back from her thoughts. She smiled and returned the excess bowl of noodles. "I'm sorry, thank you for reminding me. I want a bowl of noodles over here." "Okay." Yang quickly served the spare bowl of noodles to the customer. "Here you go, that will be 3 cents. The man took out a 1 yuan note and handed it to Yang. Yang reached out to take it. "Thank you, here is your change." From beginning to end, Yang didn't give him an extra glance. She did her work, served the noodles, collected the money. She neither took the initiative to talk to him, nor tried to get close to him, just like the other customers in the restaurant. Chapter 226 Changing Views on Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's Birthday Banquet under Song Beiqing watched as Yang turned her back to him, peering at her with a newfound seriousness in his eyes. Perhaps, from the beginning to the end, he entirely misjudged Yang. She truly didn't care about money. She genuinely didn't wish to associate with the rich and powerful. Yet, despite being only a teenager, she possessed a maturity that many adults lacked, as if weathered by countless storms. Song Beiqing touched his chin and a glimmer of intrigue flashed in his eyes. With swift movements, he finished his noodles and left the place. For 3 days, Song Beiqing visited the noodle restaurant every morning. To get his noodles, he even had his assistant queue for him for a considerable amount of time. In those 3 days they didn't exchange a single word or even a glance. Only then did Song Beiqing realize that the girl genuinely had no interest in him. "An I Yang." Song Beiqing couldn't resist calling out to An I Yang's back. "What is it?" An I Yang stopped in her tracks, directing her gaze towards Song Beiqing. Song Beiqing chuckled, "I thought for sure you wouldn't pay me any attention." An I Yang raised an eyebrow in amusement and retorted, "Why would Boss Song think that?" Song Beiqing continued, "Well, one just upset you a few days ago. So, I was hesitant to initiate a conversation with you, fearing you might still be angry." This man sure was amusing. When he stopped with his capitalist arrogance, he proved to an intriguing personality. Before An I Yang could respond, Song Beiqing carried on, "Perhaps due to our different upbringing, money has always been of primordial importance to me. In my eyes, money equals omnipotence. It gives me high-quality living standards, private drivers, assistants, servants, bodyguards. But one overlooked respect. No amount of money can buy respect. Therefore, An I Yang, I apologize for my previous inappropriate actions. It was wrong of me to measure a person's worth with money. That was an insult to your dignity." Song Beiqing was smart and adaptable. Lai wouldn't impose his errors on An I Yang. If he was at fault, he was at fault. And so he owed An I Yang an apology. An I Yang didn't expect Song Beiqing to say such words. She thought Song Beiqing was a thorough capitalist, but his realization of his faults was quite profound. An I Yang faintly smiled, "So, in your eyes, I'm a petty person?" Song Beiqing also laughed, "Of course not." With those words, Song Beiqing continued, "They say laughter eliminates all hatred, so An I Yang, can we turn over a new leaf and forget the past incidents?" Without any hesitation, An I Yang reached out her hand towards Song Beiqing. "I am An I Yang, nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you too." Song Beiqing courteously shook An I Yang's hand. "By the way, don't call me Boss Song anymore, just call me Song Beiqing. After all, the point of a name is for people to use it." "Okay." An I Yang nodded faintly. Song Beiqing continued, "Now that we are friends, may I first ask you a question?" "Sure." After a moment of thought, Song Beiqing said, "But you must promise me not to get mad after I ask this question." "Rest assured," An I Yang smiled, "I am quite reasonable." The implication was that as long as Song Beiqing's question was within bounds, she would not take offense. With some hesitation, Song Beiqing asked, "An I Yang, do you really not like money?" This question had been bothering Song Beiqing for quite some time. Does anyone in this world truly not care for money? Although he was aware that An I Yang would certainly frown at his question, Song Beiqing was simply too curious about her answer. Unexpectedly, An I Yang not only did not get angry but also broke into a hearty chuckle. "Like money? Of course one do. If one didn't, why on earth would I open this noodle restaurant? Just like you said, money provides a superior lifestyle. Everything I am doing is for a better tomorrow. There are no people in this world who do not like money. Money is essential for survival. Without money, even the most basic needs can't be met, let alone prospering in life." An I Yang liked money, but she wasn't a gold digger. There was no point hiding what she genuinely liked. "Then why did you reject?" An I Yang continued for him. "You mean, why did I reject your exorbitant invitation?" Chapter 227, Changing Views on Ni Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's Birthday Banquet _6. Song Beiqing nodded. An I Yang said, "I like money, but at the same time, I only like the money I earn myself. Your sky-high solicitation to me is no different from charity, so I choose to reject it. I prefer being down to earth rather than unexpectedly rich overnight." Song Beiqing was taken aback. He didn't expect such an answer from An I Yang. She had her own thoughts and was very frank. She was not like a typical girl, she was outstanding. After a moment, Song Beiqing continued to ask, "What's the difference between windfall wealth and working hard to earn money?" Just then an old man walking his bird happened to pass by the shop. An I Yang pointed at the bird in the cage and then at the bird singing high in the camphor tree. "It's about like the difference between these two." Song Beiqing was stunned again. An I Yang's voice came again, "I'd rather be a poor bird in the sky than a golden canary in a cage. I'd rather be a poor bird in the sky than a golden canary in a cage." A simple phrase of 14 characters, yet it contained countless life wisdoms. If he hadn't heard it with his own ears, Song Beiqing would never have believed that these words came from the mouth of a young girl. Song Beiqing had been around for a long time, had seen too many people blinded by wealth, including young girls An I Yang's age or even younger. These girls of tender years willing to sell everything for a better life. Refused to be a golden canary? They were just afraid they wouldn't get the chance to be one. Because Song Beiqing had seen too many people like this, he initially thought An Yang was one of them. He didn't expect to be wrong once. A helpless smile emerged in Song Beiqing's eyes. An Yang, it's an honor to know you, Song Beiqing said to An Yang earnestly. An Yang laughed lightly, I'm flattered that I've managed to impress Boss Song. Song Beiqing chuckled, you're still calling me boss? Isn't this mocking me? It's just a slip of the tongue, An Yang replied, I haven't gotten used to the change yet. Just then the sound of Li Gongqing urging came from outside the door, Master, it's time. Song Beiqing looked at his wristwatch, I have something else to attend to. I'll leave first. We can talk again when we both have leisure. Okay. An Yang nodded. Song Beiqing pushed the door and left. Even as he sat in the back seat, a light smile still lingered on his face. Song Beiqing was genuinely happy today. He hadn't met a girl as straightforward as An Yang in a long time. The feeling was akin to finding a soulmate. There was no gender difference involved. Communicating with An Yang was a delightfully relaxed affair. She was nothing like other pretentious wealthy daughters. Instead, she exuded an unbridled spirit of freedom. This was something the females of this era lacked. Sitting back in the rear seat with his legs crossed, Song Beiqing's right index finger intermittently tapped on the car window. Seeing the contented face in the rearview mirror, Li Gongqing was utterly impressed by An Yang. An Yang was truly amazing. She had even managed to bring Master Song to submission. After resting at the base for a few days, Li Xianxian came to the Mo family to visit Old Lady Mo and Mo Hudi. Xianxian, how do you feel now? Asked Old Lady Mo with concern. Li Xianxian smiled, Granny, you don't have to worry, I'm feeling much better now. That's good, that's good. Old Lady Mo patted Li Xianxian's hand. After glancing around, Li Xianxian asked, where's Xiaodai? Old Lady Mo replied, Xiaodai is upstairs. Li Xianxian said with a smile, then I'll go see Xiaodai. I'll go with you. Old Lady Mo stood up and followed Li Xianxian's steps. Li Xianxian immediately supported Old Lady Mo's arm, and they headed upstairs. In the upstairs room, Mo Hudi was focused on writing something at her desk. She was so absorbed that she didn't notice Old Lady Mo and Li Xianxian's entry. Xiaodai, your sister Xianxian is here to see you, Old Lady Mo said with a smile. Mo Hudi looked up and offered a polite greeting, hello, Sister Xianxian. Li Xianxian came over with a smile, let your sister take a look. What is our Xiaodai writing? Mo Hudi quickly closed her notebook, Sister Xianxian, I'm writing a diary. Diaries are private and snooping into them is an intrusion. Li Xianxian gently patted Mo Hudi's head, Xiaodai, you're young and it's the time to play. When it comes to learning you shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself. Just go with the flow. Chapter 228 Changing Views on Yen, Elder Mrs. Mo's Birthday Banquet 7 Madame Mo also laughed. Xiaodai, your sister Xianxian is right, you are at the age to play. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's fine to enjoy your writing but remember not to exhaust yourself. Mo Hudi came over, hugged Madame Mo's neck coquettishly, Grandma, I know. Li Xianxian looked at Mo Hudi and narrowed her eyes imperceptibly. Since Mo Hudi didn't die, it seemed that some plans had to be set in motion ahead of time. The Mo family was of high status, and Mo Baichuan was an important figure. If she wanted to marry into the Mo family smoothly, she still lacked a dazzling identity. With such an identity she could stand more firmly in the Mo family in the future. Li Xianxian smiled and came over, Xiaodai, would you like to go downstairs and play? Sure. Mo Hudi nodded. The three went downstairs together. Li Xianxian had brought a lot of things that little girls like to play with. So, Mo Hudi sat on the floor and started playing, even forgetting about lunch. At the dining table, Li Xianxian proactively served Madame Mo. Grandma, if I remember correctly, your 75th birthday is coming up in a few days, isn't it? Madame Mo laughed. It's commendable that you remember this old woman's birthday, Xianxian. Li Xianxian said, Grandma, your birthday is always on my mind. I know you're a filial child. Li Xianxian continued, Grandma, with all the good things happening in the family recently, we should definitely celebrate your birthday in a big way. Mo Fuhai, the eldest at the table, put down his chopsticks and agreed, Xianxian is right, we haven't had any celebrations at home lately. This would be a perfect occasion to invite the older siblings back, dispel some of the recent bad luck. Li Xianxian continued, it would be perfectly timed to invite over the little lucky star that Grandma often mentions. He has been such a help to the family, we should properly thank him. Li Xianxian had wanted to meet this little lucky star for a long time now. Unfortunately, she hadn't found the right opportunity. With this birthday banquet, not only could she display her abilities in front of the Mo family, but she could also meet the legendary little lucky star. She had to see if this little lucky star was as formidable as rumored. Of course, more importantly, she wanted to assess whether the little lucky star would pose a threat to her. Anyone daring to steal her credit would have to pay back the principal along with the interest. Madame Mo laughed and nodded. Excellent, Xianxian. You've truly hit the nail on the head. Fuhai, we should sincerely thank our little lucky star. Mo Fuhai said, let's leave this matter to 6th. He can notify Yang Yang. Upon hearing about Mo Qishan, a look of disdain flashed in Li Xiangxian's eyes. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. If he associates with the trashy 6th son of the Mo family, then this little lucky star is definitely not to be feared. He probably fluked into saving Mo Hudi and into curing Lin Pingping's acne. Mother, father, are you speaking ill of me again? A straight figure walked in from the outside at just the right moment. Uncle Mo 6th. Li Xianxian politely greeted. Although she thoroughly despised this waste, she had to maintain her facade. She couldn't let the Mo family elders harbor any dissatisfaction towards her. Mo Qishan nodded at Li Xianxian, then sat next to Madame Mo. Mo Fuhai explained to Mo Qishan about Madame Mo's birthday feast while laughing. Mo Qishan said, Dad, there's no need for you to worry about such matters when I'm here. I've already prepared the venue, you just need to enjoy yourself every day. Mo Qishan was always good at cheering people up, and he immediately brought a lot of joy to Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai. The two elders laughed and scolded him playfully as a naughty boy. Qishan, don't be hesitant to spend money on such matters. Take this passbook. Mo Fuhai ordered the servant to bring a passbook. Seeing this, Li Xianxian's scorn was evident in her eyes. Waste is waste. Even the money for his mother's birthday celebration needs to be begged from people. Such a son was really good for nothing. Unfortunately, Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai cherished Mo Qishan so much. Old age surely does make one's vision go hawkish. Mo Qishan handed the passbook back to Mo Fuhai. Dad, you don't need to worry about money. Your son is not waste. I can assure you that I will make Mom's birthday celebration grand. Considering his son's pride, Mo Fuhai could only put away the passbook. You promise me that you'll speak up if anything goes wrong. Mo Qishan nodded. Madame Mo added, Oh, Qishan, there's another thing that needs to be done. Mo Qishan said, No problem, Grandma. Whatever you command, even if it means climbing mountains of swords or diving into seas of flames, I will get it done. Madame Mo laughed heartily at Mo Qishan's joke. This child, always jesting. Once settled, she continued, it's about Yang Yang. No matter what, you have to get him to attend this birthday banquet. Mo Qishan immediately stood up and saluted in the style of a TV drama. Yes, madam. What a rascal. By the way, why didn't Xiao Dai come to eat? Mo Qishan asked. Madame Mo replied, when Xianxian came earlier she brought a bunch of new and interesting things for Xiao Dai. She's in the living room setting up her new toys. Every child has a playful nature. Mo Qishan nodded and continued eating. After the meal, Mo Qishan went to find Yang. Besides inviting him to the birthday banquet, he had to deliver some goods to him as well, a shipment of 10,000 disposable paper cups that Yang had ordered through him. Wu Darning helped Mo Qishan tie the 10,000 disposable cups to the back seat of his bicycle. Brother 6, should I deliver these to sister-in-law by car? No need. Mo Qishan checked whether the cups were secured tightly. I'll deliver them by bike. Wu Darning was puzzled. Mo Qishan clearly had a luxury car at his disposal, but insisted on using this little broken bicycle. This didn't fit his image at all. Chapter 229 Chapter Stunning. _1 Mo Qishan quickly arrived at Yang's noodle restaurant. When he got there, it was lunchtime and the restaurant was bustling with customers. Mo left his bicycle outside and went in. He naturally started to help Yang with serving noodles and taking orders. They didn't exchange a word, yet their coordination was impeccable. Many regular customers had already recognized Mo. Xiaoma, you're helping at the restaurant again today? One Mo smiled and said, Yes, Auntie. Are you having your usual pickled vegetable noodles with a cup of milk tea today? Auntie nodded happily, exactly. Xiaoma, I'll have a bowl of noodles and a cup of milk tea too. All right. For a while, Mo's popularity was nearly on par with Yang's. Xiaoma, a middle-aged woman wearing golden earrings said, Can Auntie ask you a question? Mo replied politely, Of course. The middle-aged woman continued, Xiaoma, have you settled down yet? Not yet. The middle-aged woman further inquired, has your family introduced you to any potential partners yet? Mo replied, no. No. The middle-aged woman smiled, how about Auntie introduces you to someone? My niece is extraordinarily beautiful. In this era where exorbitant dowries weren't customary yet, any good-looking chap, even if he came from a poor family, won't have to worry about finding a bride. Moreover, Mo Chishan was not only handsome but was also well-dressed and rode a bicycle. Among the common folks he was quite a catch. Not just the middle-aged woman having her meal, many people had had their eyes on Mo Chishan. But they hadn't found the opportunity to voice their intentions. Upon hearing the middle-aged woman's question, the others in the restaurant silently pricked up their ears. Mo tactfully turned her down, thank you for your kind intentions, Auntie, but I'm already in love with someone. He's in love with someone already? Disappointment flickered through the woman's eyes, but she didn't give up. Then, can you tell me the type of person you like? I know many pretty girls. Even if her niece wasn't suitable, she also had nieces from her in-laws, her own daughters. She believed that, sooner or later, she'd find someone that Mo would approve of. Mo rubbed his nose without directly replying to the woman. As he saw Yang carrying a tray of noodles from the corner of his eye, he immediately ran over to take it from her. Yang, leave this to me. You go and take Auntie's order. His actions spoke for themselves. The middle-aged woman wasn't a fool. Seeing Mo behaving this way, how could she not understand what was going on? Yang? Upon seeing Yang, the woman deflated. No matter how beautiful her daughters, nieces from her in-laws' side were, none could compare to Yang's beauty. However, when she looked at them both, with Mo's handsome look and Yang's beauty, they were rather fitting for each other. Seeing this, the others also dropped their ideas of introducing Mo to potential brides. After a hectic morning, it was time for lunch. As always, Yang cooked 2 big pots of luxury version of pickled fish noodles. She combined 4 small tables in the restaurant into 1 big table and invited the construction workers from next door to join them. The luxury version of pickled fish noodles was filled with ingredients, fish, beef and green vegetables. It was utterly satisfying with every bite. In the countryside, most men drank alcohol. So Yang prepared 2 bottles of liquor and 3 side dishes to go along with it. As for those who didn't drink alcohol, they could have milk tea. Yang brought the alcohol glasses. Brother Mo, are you drinking? Wang Tiniu walked in laughing. Yang, who are you kidding? How many men don't drink? Exactly, somebody chimed in from the crowd. How can you even call yourself a man if you can't drink? The rest joined in the banter. These men had already secretly conspired to get Mo, the city lad, drunk. This was like dealing with a new son-in-law in the countryside. In the countryside, when a girl got married, her new husband's first visit to her parents' home was seen as a testing ground. The bride's relatives would invite the villagers who could hold their liquor well to join the meal and get the new son-in-law drunk. This was to show their support for the bride and ensure she wouldn't be bullied at her in-laws' house. This was their way of showing support for Yang and protecting her. Mo wasn't perturbed by their teasing. He helped to serve the noodles on the table, took out cigarettes from his pocket, and started distributing them to everyone. Chapter 230 Chapter Stunning. 2. I appreciate the respect from all you uncles, so I will accompany you in a few drinks. Everyone took the cigarettes and had a look. Goodness. Yellow Crane Tower cigarettes. At this time, Dakiaman cigarettes were priced 5 cents per pack, unaffordable to ordinary people, hence most people smoked rolled dry tobacco. This young man, on the other hand, handed out Yellow Crane Tower cigarettes. Yellow Crane Tower retailed for 20 yuan per pack. There are a total of 20 cigarettes in a pack, which means 1 Yellow Crane Tower cigarette can buy 2 packs of Dakiaman cigarettes. Oh my. What does this young man's family do for a living? How come he's so rich? Moreover, Mo Chishan gave out cigarettes round after round, took the initiative to light them for everyone, behaving properly like a junior. In a little while, everyone was all smiles. If the difference in seniority wasn't there, everyone would have wanted to become brothers with him. Yang quietly praised Mo Chishan in his heart. This man's social skills were really impressive. To start with, Yang was worried that someone as particular as Mo Chishan would mind that Wang Tiniu and the others had just come back from the construction site and were dirty, and hence not want to talk to them. After all, Mo Chishan was a scion of a wealthy family. But now, it seemed that this concern was completely unnecessary. Though Mo Chishan was born into a wealthy family, he didn't look down on anyone. He was polite to everyone, unlike some people who flaunted their wealth, stuck up their noses, hardly seeing anyone else. At the table, Mo Qishan toasted to Wang Tiniu and the others one by one. Intending to get Mo Qishan drunk, Wang Tiniu and the others only sipped a little while Mo Qishan drank fast during the toasting. After going around, Mo Qishan had already drunk a dozen, while Wang Tiniu and the others had only had half a glass. After drinking about 10 glasses, equaling to 5 or 6 liang of liquor, amazingly, Mo Qishan was neither flushed nor shaky, showing no signs of drunkenness. Seeing Mo Qishan not drunk, Wang Tiniu exchanged glances with the rest, stood up and raised his glass. Xiaoma, you just toasted to us, now it's our turn to toast to you. Mo Qishan immediately stood up. Uncle Tiniu, you are my elder, it's against propriety for you to toast me. I should be the one standing. Please sit down. A satisfied expression emerged from the depths of Wang Tiniu's eyes. He took a seat. All right then, I want to insist I'll drink first. Mo Qishan also swallowed the wine in his glass. Another round, and Mo Qishan drank a dozen more, adding up to over a caddy, yet he showed no signs of drunkenness. After this round, Mo Qishan continued to offer cigarettes to everyone. Uncles, have a smoke. Seeing Mo Qishan being so well behaved and having such good tolerance for alcohol, and since they still had work in the afternoon, everyone didn't want to give him a hard time, cheerfully accepting the cigarettes. It won't be a man's drinking party without bragging. As a young bachelor, Mo Qishan couldn't participate in such topics. Therefore he was busy pouring drinks, handing out cigarettes, lighting them, thoroughly filling the role of a junior. The doors of the restaurant were transparent, clearly displaying the inside from the outside when a black luxury car quickly passed by. 2 blonde-haired, blue-eyed people from the F country were seated in the car. The driver hit the brakes, tugged at his companion and swallowed hard. Morris, look quickly, who's that inside? When Morris impatiently turned to see what was happening inside, the impatient expression on his face gradually turned to shock. My God! Marcus, I couldn't have gone blind. The whole demeanor of Marcus froze. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never believe what they were seeing. The two just kept staring at the scene inside the restaurant, stunned, so much so they barely moved for a while. Only after receiving a warning look did Marcus nervously step on the gas, driving the car away from the noodle restaurant. Mo Qishan slowly turned his gaze back, eating his noodles in a leisurely manner. Due to a good upbringing, his posture was especially elegant when eating. Even his every movement exuded an aristocratic ambience. The bragging at the table continued. Yang quietly handed a cup of water to Mo Qishan. Brother Mo, have some honey water, it helps with the alcohol. Mo Qishan had drunk at least over a caddy of liquor. Despite appearing no different from someone sober, Yang was concerned about a delayed effect of the alcohol. Chapter 231 Chapter Stunning. 3 Thank you. Mo Qishan reached out and took the cup. His slender fingertips accidentally grazed the back of Yang's hand, feeling slightly cool. In this instance, Mo Qishan suddenly thought of an exquisite ancient jade he had come across last summer while he was in F country. The sensation of touching this jade was similar. The honey water was sweet with a faint hint of lemon. A single sip managed to soothe the burning sensation in his heart. Taking advantage of the action of picking up food, Mo Qishan whispers into Yang's ear, Yang, I can hold my liquor very well. I'm not drunk at all, you don't have to worry. At this very moment, Yang turned her head, her fair cheeks brushing against his lips. It was like a shock. Such an unintentional move had successfully stunned the both of them. The boasting noises coming from the table seemed to have become a vacuum. Mo Qishan picked up the cup again, nonchalantly took a sip of the honey water as if nothing had happened. His calm exterior remained, but the thin layer of sweat on his face betrayed his emotions. Just after putting down the cup, Mo Qishan gulped down another mouthful of honey water. Yet this time he couldn't suppress the burning sensation in his heart. Stealing a quick glance at Yang, he found her casually chatting with Zhou Qingshang and Wang Jinfeng on the side, acting as if nothing had happened. Damn. His composure was actually less than a young girl. Mo Qishan picked up his cup again in frustration, only to find out that his honey water was all gone. Left with no choice, he put down his cup and continued with his meal. What Mo Qishan didn't know was that Yang, who appeared stable as Mount Tai, was actually panicking inside. Including all her past and present lives combined, this was the first time she had such intimate contact with a man. Felt a little strange. Soon after, everyone finished their meals and Wang Tiniu led them to the nearby shop. Mo Qishan stood up, pulled out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, and handed them around. After everyone had left, Mo Qixin finally had a chance to discuss important matters with Yang. He brought in the 10,000 disposable cups from outside the door. Yang, these are the 10,000 cups you ordered. Can you check? Yang laughed and replied, no need to count, brother Mo, don't I trust you? The two of them got along very naturally, completely forgetting the previous episode at dinner. Yang took out money from the counter to give to Mo Qixin, and he didn't refuse. He deeply understood Yang's character. She would never accept charity. If he refused the money this time, Yang would definitely not ask for his help next time. Mo Qixin took the money, then said, yeah, Yang, I have something else to tell you. Yang nodded her head. Go ahead, brother Mo. Mo Qixin said, the 8th day of next month is my mother's birthday. She wants to invite you to her birthday celebration. I don't know if you can make it. Birthday celebration. Looking at the calendar, Li Xianxian should have woken up by then. Since it was the Mo family's birthday celebration, Li Xianxian would definitely be there. Moreover, Yang always treated Mo Qixin as a friend. Mo Qixin had helped her so much, so if he personally invited her, she had no reason to refuse. Of course. Yang said with a smile, since brother Mo has kindly invited, he'll definitely be there. Really? Mo Qixin was overjoyed. Mo Qixin look out an invitation. Here, this is the invitation. Yang took it with both hands. Thank you. Mo Qixin continued, you've worked all morning and you still have to work in the afternoon. You should take the opportunity to rest for a while. I have to go. Yang nodded and saw Mo Qixin to the door. Just as Mo Qixin set foot on his bicycle as if he remembered something, he looked back at Yang. Yang, I may not be in Beijing for the next few days. If anything happens you can contact Wu Darning. Then he'll pick you up here on the morning of the 8th. Okay. Yang waved at him. Brother Mo, be careful on the road. We'll meet here on the morning of the 8th. After bidding goodbye to Yang, Mo Qixin whistled as he pedaled his bike away. Had just turned a corner when he wobbled and almost fell off his bike. He stood at the side of the road, his right hand pinching his temple. His feet felt like they were stepping on cotton and he felt like he could faint at any time. There was a stark contrast between his demeanor now and just a moment ago. This hangover was pretty strong. After all, he had drunk more than a kilogram. How could he not be drunk? It's also thanks to Mo Qixin's strong endurance that he held on until now. If it were anyone else they probably would have thrown up by now. Chapter 232 Chapter Stunning. For after a while, a black car slowly drove over, parking nearby. Two young men got out of the car, one helped Mo Qixin into the car, the other loaded the bicycle into the trunk. Are you okay? Came a concerned voice from the driver's seat. I'm fine. Mo Qixin, enduring a headache, continued, first take me back to the manor. All right, please wait a moment. The driver glanced at the man's frosty face through the rearview mirror, couldn't help but wonder, was this really the same man who had been toasting and offering cigarettes to the group of construction workers at the small noodle restaurant only an hour ago? Was it really the same person? The companions in the passenger seat obviously thought about the same question. They exchanged a glance, both seeing doubt in each other's eyes. Lately, Lin Pingping's skin condition was getting better and better. At a class reunion, her classmates could barely recognize her. My God. Pingping, your skin is incredible. So fair. I remember you weren't this fair before. Women in their 30s generally have the worst skin condition. Even the ladies of wealthy families cannot escape the traces of time. Among them, some had pigmented spots on their faces, some had yellowish skin, some had peeling skin. It's no wonder the term yellow-faced woman exists. Lin Pingping, sitting among them, naturally became the one who stood out in the crowd. One of the straightforward classmates said, something's not right, Pingping. I saw you earlier this year, you had a face full of pimples, how did you suddenly become so pretty now? Lin Pingping didn't mind, she smiled and said, it might have something to do with the skincare products I've been using lately. You all know that my face had a big problem a year ago, it was only after using these skincare products that my face improved. Hearing this, everyone was shocked and asked, what brand? You should recommend it to us. Quick, tell us, I want to go buy a set too. Lin Pingping continued, it's called Icy Skin J Beauty, but you may not be able to find it in the market, because this skincare product was developed by a high-profile person, it's limited supply, without connections you can't get it at all. Lin Pingping spoke in a mysterious tone, further piquing everyone's curiosity. After all, Lin Pingping's current skin condition was really good. So good that it inspired envy. Icy Skin J Beauty, these 4 words were really eye-catching. Pingping, can you help us get a set? Ping Ping, we've been classmates for so many years, you won't refuse this favor, will you? Lin Ping Ping laughed and said, I can help you, but one of the products that can whiten the skin might be a bit expensive. I don't know if you can accept it. Expensive? How much is it? Lin Ping Ping continued, 108 yuan a box. Hearing this, everyone chuckled. That's not bad, I thought it would be very expensive. It's only 108. In the eyes of these people from wealthy families, 108 yuan was nothing at all. It was equivalent to what they would spend on a casual clothing purchase. Get me one for skin whitening. I want one too. Me too. Everyone was busy stuffing money into Lin Ping Ping's hands. Lin Ping Ping said, don't rush, merely applying whitening and moisturizing cream isn't useful. The effect is better when used in combination with facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. Besides, it not only whitens but also controls acne, fades spots, moisturizes. Lin Ping Ping introduced Ni Yang's products one by one, speaking about them in a mysterious manner. At one point when someone questioned her, are these skincare products really that good? I've never heard of these brands before. I haven't heard of them either. I heard that Lin Ping Ping is divorcing Hongbin lately. Could it be that she's out of money so she's trying to cheat us? Hearing these doubts, Lin Ping Ping wasn't angry, she just smiled and said, I have some samples at home. After the reunion, why don't you come over to my place? I can give you some samples to try. If you like them, then you can buy more. We're all old classmates, I wouldn't want to get a reputation for cheating. With her saying that, those who had questioned her earlier shut their mouths, their faces flushed with embarrassment. When the reunion ended, over a dozen beauty-loving female classmates followed Lin Ping Ping home. Seeing that Lin Ping Ping was now living in the Imo family mansion, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 233 Chapter Stunning 5. The Imo family is rich and wealthy with countless assets. They can afford as much money as they need. How could Lin Ping Ping possibly defraud people over such a small sum? Ping Ping, we know you wouldn't deceive us. You don't have to give us sample kits. Just order a set for us directly, erase the money. You can keep it. Lin Ping Ping handed out a bunch of sample kits to the crowd. Even so, I should give you some sample kits first. I don't have any ready-made skincare products at the moment. You can try using them first. After all, everyone's skin type is different. The skincare products that work for my skin may not have the same effects on your skin. The others thought that what Lin Ping Ping said made sense, so they did not insist, and each took some samples and left. On the morning of the third day, Lin Ping Ping was still in bed when a piercing phone ring woke her up. Lin Ping Ping picked up the telephone receiver with half-closed eyes. Hello. A surprised voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello. Ping Ping. I'm Xiao Xiao. I used the skincare samples you gave me a few days ago. They are really amazing. Would you be able to buy a few sets for me? Upon hearing this, Lin Ping Ping suddenly became more alert. But as soon as she hung up, the urgent phone ringing sounded again. This time it was also a call to order skincare products. Lin Ping Ping received more than a dozen calls that morning alone. Therefore, Lin Ping Ping decided not to sleep anymore. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed her face, and then went to work. During her lunch break, Lin Ping Ping went to Ni Yang's noodle restaurant and told her about the orders for the skincare products. Ni Yang smiled and said, for now we have ample stock of facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, as well as 2 types of acne and freckle removal creams. But the whitening moisturizing cream is limited to 30 boxes per month and we only have 8 boxes left. For beauty, people are willing to pay any price. Under the promotion of Ni Qinggrui and Wang Meifeng, the high-end whitening moisturizing cream, priced at 108 yuan a box, sold 22 boxes in just a few days. Adhering to the principle of limited edition equals high value, Ni Yang planned not to produce too much at first. She planned to produce only 30 boxes per month to keep the consumers anticipating and maintain the product's high profile, before gradually increasing production. This is a kind of hunger marketing. Lin Ping Ping hurriedly said, Yang, sell all the remaining 8 boxes of whitening moisturizing cream to me. Then I want 12 bottles of facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, and 13 bottles of each of the acne and freckle removal creams. To avoid missing out on any orders from her classmates, Lin Ping Ping even drafted a list. Sure. Ni Yang nodded, but I don't have any stock in hand right now, should I bring them to you tomorrow morning? All right, Lin Ping Ping said, he'll come and get them tomorrow morning. I want to pay you. Everything added up to a total of 46 bottles. The price of 8 boxes of whitening moisturizing cream is 864 yuan, while the remaining 38 bottles of facial cleanser and acne and freckle removal creams cost 940 yuan, totaling 1,804 yuan. Lin Pingping handed Ni Yang 1,900 yuan, and Ni Yang gave her back 200 yuan without saying much. Lin Pingping didn't think much of it. It was only after she left the restaurant that she realized that Ni Yang had given her 104 yuan extra. Lin Pingping promptly returned to the restaurant and gave Ni Yang the remaining money. Yang, you gave me too much change. Ni Yang smiled and said, I didn't make a mistake. Auntie Ping, you gave me 2 yuan extra when you bought skincare products last time. About half a month ago, Lin Pingping came to buy skincare products. The total cost was 300 yuan, but Lin Pingping gave 400 yuan. Ni Yang chased after her, but Lin Pingping just ran off. Naturally, Ni Yang wouldn't accept the extra 2 yuan from Lin Pingping for no reason. The purpose of her starting the business was not to make money. If she accepted the extra 100 yuan from Lin Pingping, it would dilute the initial purpose of her business. Lin Pingping said, Yang, that was last time, this is this time. Ni Yang gave a faint smile and spoke lightly, Auntie Ping, if you don't accept it, I might not dare to sell skincare products to you next time. With no choice, Lin Pingping had to accept the money, secretly deciding in her heart that she must help Ni Yang promote the skincare products more in the future. The influence of a good product is really great. Because when a product is good, consumers will recommend it to each other. This forms a circle, and this circle will only grow bigger. As a result, the reputation of Crystal Clear will also grow. Chapter 234 Chapter Stunning. _6. Recently, Ni Yang's income from selling skincare products alone had exceeded 6,000 yuan. Adding the revenue from the noodles and milk tea sales, and after deducting the cost of store renovation, her savings had now exceeded 20,000 yuan. The birthday banquet of the old Madame Mo was just around the corner, so Ni Yang had been thinking about what gift to prepare for the old lady in the last few days. Mo family were indeed affluent, and items costing just a few or 100 yuan certainly wouldn't catch the old lattice attention. Yet anything too expensive was out of Ni Yang's reach. Therefore, although the birthday gift wouldn't need to be too costly, it was essential to show sincerity. She must strike out a new path for herself and grasp an opportunity. Thinking about it, Ni Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, an idea forming in her mind. The morning of the 8th. Looking neat and tidy, Mo Qishan rode his precious bicycle to the noodle restaurant to pick up Ni Yang. As he arrived, a jeep pulled up. The car window rolled down, revealing a handsome face. Uncle, are you here to pick up Ni Yang? The one who came was none other than Mo Baichuan. Mo Qishan smiled faintly. That's right, do you have any advice, nephew? Mo Baichuan's eyes held countless scorn as he looked at Mo Qishan. Uncle, you can't seriously think that Ni Yang is interested in you, can you? Mo Qishan said nothing. His nephew seemed to have too much time on his hands lately. Mo Baichuan continued, I told you that Ni Yang has been close to you only because of me. She wants to get close to me. Otherwise, would Ni Yang be interested in a loser like Mo Qishan? What a joke. Yet, Mo Qishan was a foolish romantic, really believing Ni Yang would be interested in him. Sitting on his bicycle with his long legs touching the ground, Mo Qishan pointed at his head. Nephew, did you ever get that problem in your head checked? Both his older brother and sister-in-law were not fools. How could they give birth to a son as arrogant and unconventional as Mo Baichuan? Mo Qishan was now even suspecting that his nephew was adopted. Uncle, you don't believe me? Mo Baichuan suddenly turned serious. If you don't, let's make a bet. Then you will see what kind of person Ni Yang really is. Mo Qishan's lips curled into a small smile. Mo Baichuan continued, let's bet on whose car Ni Yang will ride in today. Mo Qishan laughed lightly. Is there a need to bet on that? Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Uncle, don't you think you are too self-confident? Nephew. Mo Qishan looked at Mo Baichuan. I think you are ridiculous. Mo Baichuan didn't feel like arguing with Mo Qishan. Whether you're too confident or I'm ridiculous, you'll see the answer soon. Mo Qishan was still deceiving himself. Under today's circumstances, anyone could tell with their toes that Ni Yang definitely wouldn't ride Mo Qishan's bicycle. After all, today was an important day for the Mo family, and all the attendees were important figures. How could a vain woman like Ni Yang ride a small bicycle? Mo Qishan was really dumb. In a moment, a clear voice rang out in the air, Brother Mo. As Mo Qishan looked up, he saw Ni Yang, dressed in a beige overcoat, walking out. Her jet-black, shiny hair was evenly spread out behind her, and there was a rosy hair clip on her right ear. The rosy hair clip against her fair and transparent ears was like a red plum in the snow, extremely eye-catching. The beige overcoat, buttoned up to the ankles, outlined her fine figure and slender waist. It looked as if a strong wind could break her thin waist. Yang. Mo Chishan jumped off his bicycle and walked towards Ni Yang, talking and laughing as if he didn't notice Mo Baichuan by the jeep. As Ni Yang completely ignored him, Mo Baichuan's face darkened. Was she still playing hard to get? Miss Ni, Mo Baichuan walked straight up to Ni Yang, looking down at her. To repay you for saving my life in Dam Village, I personally came to invite you to my grandmother's birthday banquet today. Wasn't this what Ni Yang wanted? She had followed him all the way from Dam Village to Beijing, just to draw his attention with the life-saving grace. He would grant her wish today. He didn't believe that Ni Yang could still play coy when he had put it all out on the table. Chapter 235, Stunning. _7 Ni Yang gave him a velvet smile and retorted, "Did I save someone in Dam Village? It's clear that the only thing I saved in Dam Village was a dog with a penchant for biting people. Dear sir, don't behave like a dog. I've already made my intentions very clear. Have some self-awareness, would you?" True, Ni Yang had saved Mo Baichuan, but it felt just like saving a dog. If it was a dog, at least the dog would wag its tail at her. Unlike Mo Baichuan, who simply bit her back like a maniac, sticking to her like glue no matter how much she tried to shake him off. You. Mo Baichuan was suddenly filled with rage. He didn't expect Ni Yang to keep playing coy even after all he had done. Was this amusing to her? Didn't she realize she was playing her part way too well? As Mo Chishan was just about to voice his thoughts, he heard Ni Yang say, "Brother Mo, let's get going. We shouldn't waste our time on irrelevant people. If a dog bites you, would you bite it back?" These words quite unexpectedly chimed with Mo Chishan's own thinking. Nodding, he agreed, "Indeed, let's move." Mo Chishan maneuvered his bicycle, and Ni Yang took up her usual place on the back seat. Yang, hold on tight, we're setting off. Okay. Ni Yang smartly held onto Mo Chishan's waist with one hand and her belongings with the other. As the handsome lad and pretty girl rode under the morning sun, bathed in its warm golden light, it should have been a beautiful sight. But to Mo Baichuan, it was irritatingly dazzling. That was crossing the line. Ni Yang was overreacting. He had even stooped to the level of personally driving to pick her up, but she still chose to ride off with Mo Chishan on his bicycle. Mo Baichuan initially came to declare war to Mo Chishan. He wanted to let Mo Chishan know that Ni Yang was close to him only because of Mo Baichuan. Unexpectedly, he ended up getting slapped by Mo Chishan instead. Just wait, he swore that one day he would expose Ni Yang's true face. Mo Baichuan clenched his fists tight, his suppressed rage making the veins in his neck pop. He looked truly vicious. At that moment he thought of another person. Li Xianxian. Since Ni Yang failed to appreciate his kindness and insisted on playing coy, he could try winning over Li Xianxian. With a car, he could reach home long before the slow-paced bicycle. As long as he fetched Li Xianxian home before Mo Chishan, making Ni Yang witness it all, she would undoubtedly lose her cool. Jealousy could make people bare their ugliest side. Squinting his eyes, Mo Baichuan got into his car. Soon after, his car could be spotted parked under the ladies' dormitory at the base. Being a formidable figure on the base, Mo Baichuan's car parked under the ladies' dormitory drew the attention of countless female onlookers. In their faces, Mo Baichuan found the recognition he sought. "Could you please go and fetch Li Xianxian from room 106 for me? Tell her I'm waiting for her downstairs." Mo Baichuan grabbed a random girl's hand and made the request. Of course. The girl's face turned a shade of shrimp red. When Li Xianxian found out that Mo Baichuan had come to fetch her himself, she felt as though she was dreaming. No. She never even dreamed that Mo Baichuan would come to fetch her one day. Now she turned into the envy of all. Li Xianxian quickly donned a beautiful and stylish strapless dress and put on her crystal shoes before walking out. "Baichuan? Let's go." Mo Baichuan barely glanced at her before turning around to get back into the car. Excited, Li Xianxian got into the passenger seat. The air conditioning in the car was very strong, so Li Xianxian didn't feel cold. All the way, Li Xianxian was stealthily observing Mo Baichuan's expression. Since Mo Baichuan always maintained the same facial expression, Li Xianxian was unable to notice any abnormalities. The car was speeding up and soon caught up with the bicycle. Later, the speed of the car maintained an appropriate distance from the bicycle. About half an hour later, the car finally stopped in front of the Mo family's villa. "Don't get out of the car yet," Mo Baichuan spoke out coldly. Li Xianxian was taken aback. Mo Baichuan noticed that the bicycle was about to enter the villa. He then opened the car door and walked over to open the door for Li Xianxian. Exhibiting gentlemanly manners, he extended a hand towards Li Xianxian. Xianxian, we've arrived. Mo Baichuan's attitude was different from what it had been earlier. This was the first time he had taken the initiative to hold her hand. Li Xianxian was overjoyed, her heart as if about to jump out of her chest. Cautiously, she extended her hand, placing it on top of Mo Baichuan's hand. Her cheeks turned slightly red. Mo Baichuan hid well the disgust in his eyes and led Li Xianxian out of the car. At the right moment, Mo Qixin also arrived with an Yang. Without turning his head, Mo Baichuan led Li Xianxian into the hall. An Yang also noticed Li Xianxian immediately. It seemed her guess was correct. Li Xianxian did show up at the Mo family's house. The trip was not in vain. Looking at the backless silhouette of Li Xianxian, an Yang shivered uncontrollably. Is Li Xianxian not cold wearing such a dress during winter? Mo Qixin parked the bike and turned to look at an Yang. Yang, my brothers and sisters-in-law are all here today. Don't be nervous, just stay by my side. An Yang nodded. Okay. They entered the house. The hall was lively with people coming and going. The heating was very strong. An Yang couldn't stand the heat after walking only a few steps. Fortunately, she was wearing a plain cheongsam under her coat, so it was fine to take off the coat. After all, a proper dress is required for such banquets. And a cheongsam is also a type of formal attire. An Yang was unbuttoning her coat as they walked. She took off her coat and casually draped it over her arm. Mo Qixin extended his hand to take her coat. Yang, we have a lot of family members today. Let me keep your coat for you. All right, an Yang nodded. Thank you, brother Mo. Mo Qixin smiled faintly. You're welcome. While Li Xianxian and Mo Baichuan were walking in front, Mo Hudy saw Li Xianxian and contrary to her usual self, was overly warm. Her little face was smiling so brightly it almost bloomed. She opened her arms and ran over quickly. Sister Xianxian. At this time the other guests in the room also looked in this direction, their eyes filled with admiration. Feeling everyone's gaze, Li Xianxian straightened her back. She had been preparing for quite a while for this day in order to stand out. This attire alone took 2 months to prepare. With a gentle and decent smile on her face, Li Xianxian half squatted down, opened her arms and welcomed Mo Hudy. Shao Dai. However, Mo Hudy ran straight past Li Xianxian and jumped into the arms of the person behind Li Xianxian, Sister An Yang. It was only then that Li Xianxian heard clearly what Mo Hudy said. She was calling for Sister An Yang, not Sister Xianxian. What happened? Moreover, it seemed that the gazes of the others were not focused on her, but were oriented towards someone behind her. Who is behind me? Chapter 236. The truth about plotting against Mo Hudy, tormenting Li Xianxian. Why were all eyes on her? A chill of foreboding tinged Li Xianxian's mind. Her complexion paled as she slowly turned her head to look behind her. There was a figure clad in a light-colored cheongsam, stepping languidly. Her glossy raven hair half swept up, and her clear, expressive peach blossom eyes were framed with long, thick lashes casting a shadow on her eyelids. Secured on her ear was a hair clip in the shape of a red plum blossom, contrasting with her fair ear tip. It was like a red plum blooming brilliantly amidst a blanket of white snow, utterly mesmerizing. The red hair clip perfectly complemented the button of her cheongsam, projecting the elegant radiance of a figure stepped out from a painting, with no room for criticism. The cheongsam was usually a demanding piece of attire. If not worn gracefully, it could look overly rigid and dreary. However, the person before them was donning the cheongsam in a way that exemplified its timeless elegance. Usually the cheongsam enhances the wearer, but in her case she was the one enhancing the cheongsam. Who was she? Why did she seem so familiar? Li Xianxian squinted her eyes, momentarily unable to recall the identity of the figure. But the sense of impending danger was steadily growing stronger within her. Sister An Yang, I've been waiting for you for so long. Mo Hudy embraced An Yang, unwilling to let go. Sister An Yang. Upon hearing this long-lost address, Li Xianxian started to regain her composure. It was her. She had come back. She indeed had returned. Insolent woman. Hadn't she already married that castrated old man? Why had she returned? Li Xianxian's hand clenched tight, the sharpened nails digging into her flesh due to excessive force. No. She couldn't be defeated by this shameless woman, she must remain calm. She had to win over everyone. No one will take Mo Baichuan from her. Luckily everyone's attention was focused on An Yang, so no one paid attention to her. Li Xianxian stood up gracefully, maintaining a polished smile on her face. Yang Yang is here. The old lady of the Mo family and Mo Fuhai warmly welcomed her. They introduced Yang to the rest of the family. My first 4 sons, let me introduce you to Yang, the divine doctor who healed Xiaodai. Yang is the lucky star of our Mo family. Not only did she heal Xiaodai but she also saved Ping Ping. I rely exclusively on the breakfast she prepares whenever my appetite dwindles. Not everyone could bear being addressed as the lucky star by the matriarch of the Mo family. Upon hearing her words, everyone's gaze shifted towards Yang. Li Xiangxian's mind was thrown into chaos. She had considered many possibilities, but she had never anticipated that Yang would be the lucky star revered by the old matriarch. Why was it Yang? What had transpired during the period when she was unconscious? Miss Mo Rongping, the eldest son of the Mo family. I am Mo Ronggan, the second son. Mo Rongzhong, the fourth son. I am Mo Ronghua, the fifth son. The matriarch of the Mo family got married when she was 18 years old. The eldest son, Mo Rongping, was 56 years old, and even the youngest, the fifth son, was 49. Only their youngest brother, Mo Qishan, was quite young. He was only a year older than his eldest grandson, Mo Baichuan, and was now 27. In fact, it was also apparent from the names themselves that Mo Qishan was an unexpected child. While the names of the first 4 sons represented peace, prosperity and patriotism, his name signified uniqueness and profoundness. Before these people, Yang was merely a 17-year-old child. Yet she exuded a composed, polite demeanor. The old lady pointed to her sons and said, Yang, just call them eldest brother, second brother, fourth brother and fifth brother. Eldest brother, second brother, fourth brother, fifth brother? What was the matriarch trying to imply? Li Xianxian almost bit through her lip. She had been meticulously planning for 2 whole years before she earned the trust of the matriarch and patriarch of the Mo family. Had Yang only known them for a few days? How could they trust Yang so easily? This was unfair. This was unfair to her. Why was this insolent woman always after what she desired? It was the same in her previous life. And it was the same in this life. Li Xiangxian's lowered eyes were filled with venomous indignation. Mo Baichuan also found the matriarch's behavior rather befuddling. If Yang was to address his uncles as brothers, wouldn't she become his senior? How could that make sense? Yang was initially worried about how to address them. After all, she addressed Mo Qishan as brother Mo. It would be strange for her to call his elder brothers as uncles. On the other hand, addressing them as brothers would accentuate their age difference. Chapter 237. The Truth About Plotting Against Mo Hudi, Torturing Li Xianxian 2. Now that the old lady Mo has said so, Yang didn't put on airs and directly greeted, Hello, elder brother, second brother, fourth brother, fifth brother. Yang's good looks, her sensible behavior and her kindness towards the Mo family, made all of the Mo family's sons quite willing to accept her as their sister. Old lady Mo then pulled Yang to Li Xiangxian's side and introduced, Xianxian, this is the lucky charm I've told you about before. Yang, this is Li Xianxian. She is 3 years older than you and usually stays with Chuan, serving as his capable assistant. Yang gave a small smile, reaching out to shake Li Xiangxian's hand, Hello, Sister Xianxian. Her smile was light and pure, as if a neighboring sister with affable charm, inevitably causing one to drop all guards and defenses. However, Li Xianxian couldn't relax at all. Sister Xianxian? Yang was actually calling her Sister Xianxian? What was she trying to do? In her past life, Yang was indifferent to her, even going as far as ignoring gifts and attempts to curry favor with her. In this life, would she really be so well-intentioned? But then again, Yang in this life is only 17 years old. 17 years old, still a green young girl. What could such a young girl understand? Even if Yang accidentally climbed the ranks of the Mo family, she had ways to bring her down from her pedestal. Could a young girl outsmart her? Holding on to this thought, Li Xianxian was greatly relieved and shook Yang's hand. Hello Yang. Grandma often mentions you. Now that I've met you in person, you truly live up to your reputation. Yang accepted Li Xiangxian's praise without a word. Thank you, Sister Xianxian. Li Xiangxian's eyes narrowed. She felt something off about the Yang before her eyes. At this time, Yang should have just fled from the countryside, still maintaining her unsophisticated naivete, overwhelmed when faced with her sophisticated grace, and feeling extreme shame and inferiority. But what about Yang? Yang didn't show the slightest bit of inferiority, but was radiant and generous. Sister Ni Yang, would you like me to show you my room? Mo Hudi approached, taking Ni Yang's hand. Sure. Ni Yang patted Mo Hudi's head and followed her up the stairs. Watching their figures disappear, a glint of ominous light flashed in Li Xiangxian's eyes. This Mo Hudi truly ungrateful. She treated her so well, always bringing toys for her whenever she visited the Mo family, always trying to make her happy. But Mo Hudi? She wasn't the least bit grateful, even embarrassing her in public. Inviting Ni Yang to tour her room without inviting her. An absolute ingrate. She deserved to lose her parents, becoming an orphan. Ni Yang went upstairs with Mo Hudi, meeting Mo Qixin on their way, who was coming down the spiral staircase. Yang, where are you two going? Mo Qixin had his hands in his pockets, smiling at the duo. Hudi wants to show me her room. Ni Yang replied. Uncle, would you like to come with us? Mo Hudi caught hold of Mo Qixin's hand with her other one. Sure. Mo Qixin nodded. The trio then headed for Mo Hudi's room. Witnessing the scene atop the spiral staircase, Li Xiangxian's face was full of scorn. She was initially worried about whether Ni Yang had also returned from the past like her. It seems that she was overthinking it. If Ni Yang had also returned from the past, she would not have walked away with a waist like Mo Qixin. Mo Hudi's room was over 50 square meters, and was exquisitely decorated with imported stuffed toys from overseas scattered all over. Next to the window there was a desk with an open notebook on it. The notebook was filled with scribbles, beside which lay an extravagant Picasso pen. Sister Ni Yang, these are my writings. Mo Hudi gave the notebook on the desk to Ni Yang. Had Li Xianxian been there, she would have died of anger on the spot. A few days ago she too had wanted to look at the contents of this notebook, but was denied by Mo Hudi. Moreover, Mo Hudi had told her that it was a diary and hence, not to be seen by outsiders. When Ni Yang opened the first page of the notebook, she was shocked. It wasn't just the beautiful handwriting that shocked her, but mainly the name written in the column. Chapter 238, The Truth About Planning to Harm Mo Hudi, Tormenting Li Xianxian _3. The Butterfly Flies. If her memory serves her correctly, in the future, there is a very famous contemporary author named the Butterfly Flies. Her writing is highly revered by many, becoming a marvel in the modern literary world. Ni Yang had also read her works. Is Mo Hudi that same Butterfly Flies? Mo Hudi introduced herself. Sister Ni Yang, Butterfly Flies is my pseudonym. What do you think of the name? Does flies means liberating flight? Ni Yang asked. That's correct. Mo Hudi nodded, smiling brightly. Sister Ni Yang, you're really sharp. It does indeed mean the leisurely flight. The previously bedridden Mo Hudi longed to live like a normal child, which had influenced her choice of pseudonym. She hoped she could become a true butterfly one day. Ni Yang flipped a few more pages in the notebook, her face getting more shocked as she read on. Clearly, Mo Hudi and the future butterfly flies were one and the same, because this notebook was full of famous quotes from the butterfly flies. Mo Hudi was currently 12 years old, and based on time calculation, she should rise to fame about 15 years from now, when she would be in her 20s. But Ni Yang had read Butterfly Fly's autobiography. If she remembered correctly, Butterfly Flies rose to fame around her 30s. Something was off. It did not match up with Mo Hudi's current age. Shout-I, have you ever thought about publishing your own book? Ni Yang turned to look at Mo Hudi. Publish a book? Mo Hudi blinked. No. She was just bored and wrote these things to pass the time. She had never even contemplated publishing them. Ni Yang went on. Shout-I, your literary talent far surpasses the average person. Actually, you could consider pursuing a career in publishing. Who would believe these life-inspiring sentences were penned by a mere 12-year-old girl? Seeing Ni Yang's reaction, Mo Qixin took the notebook from Ni Yang. But Mo Hudi pressed his hand. Uncle, this is a secret between Sister Ni Yang and me. You're a boy, you're not allowed to see. Mo Qixin chuckled and pinched her face. You let Sister Ni Yang read this but not me? Shout-I, isn't that showing favoritism? This will make me sad. Mo Hudi hesitated, then finally relented. Fine, I'll let you have a look. Mo Qixin took the notebook and quickly skimmed through a few pages, his expression gradually turning serious. For such a long time, he had no idea his niece possessed such talent. Just then a young friend came to play with Mo Hudi. Ni Yang saw the opportunity and pulled Mo Qixin outside. Brother Mo, I have a question to ask you. Mo Qixin followed Ni Yang outside, smiling. Speak. I will try my best to answer. Brother Mo, Ni Yang looked up at Mo Qixin. Can I ask why did Li Xianxian commit suicide last time? And Ai Yang's intuition told her that the reason Li Xianxian committed suicide was absolutely intertwined with Mo Hudi. Mo Qishan had no inclination to conceal anything from Ai Yang. So, he went on to explain everything about the Jiangnan divine doctor and Mo Hudi's parents to Ai Yang. Hearing this, Ai Yang slightly furrowed her eyebrows. This incident might look like a premeditated revenge act by the Jiangnan divine doctor, but in reality, it's not that simple. The incident was years ago, and the Mo family had relocated to Beijing. So, how did the Jiangnan divine doctor find out Mo Hudi was a descendant of the Mo family? How did Li Xianxian get to know the Jiangnan divine doctor? Perhaps, nobody else knew about the grudge between Jiangnan divine doctor and the Mo family, but Li Xianxian was different. She had reincarnated and come back to life. She knew about things others wouldn't. Therefore, the person who intended to murder Mo Hudi was not anyone else, but it was Li Xianxian. Li Xianxian was very shrewd. This ploy of using another's hand to strike was extremely ingenious. Given the long-standing enmity between the Jiangnan divine doctor and the Mo family, his motive for killing Mo Hudi was clear. Who would suspect Li Xianxian? Li Xianxian didn't only manage to perfectly wash her hands clean of all crimes, but also committed suicide to earn the full sympathy of the Mo family. This was truly a triple victory. However, what Li Xianxian did not foresee was that Mo Hudi didn't die in the end. Since Mo Hudi did not die, all of Li Xianxian's plans must be sped up. Considering this, a glint of light flashed in Ai Yang's eyes. Yang, have you noticed something? Mo Qishan detected something odd about Ai Yang. Chapter 239. The Truth About Plotting Against Mo Hudi, Tormenting Li Xianxian 4. Ai Yang slightly raised her eyes. No big deal. By the way, Brother Mo, I think Xiao Dai really has the potential. You can hire a tutor to guide her. I believe she will achieve great things in the future. Mo Qishan nodded approvingly. I also think Xiao Dai is pretty smart. Ai Yang continued, Brother Mo, I have a suggestion for you. Go ahead, Yang. Ai Yang said quietly, Hey Race, what I recommend, let's keep this a secret for now. Once Xiao Dai's book is finally published, we can surprise everyone. Sure, they'll follow your advice. Mo Qishan had no objections about this matter. He firmly believed that everything Ai Yang said was right. The two of them chatted while walking downstairs. The Mo family was a prominent family in Beijing, so there were many people who came to wish Grandma Mo a happy birthday today. In no time, the ground floor lobby was crowded with people. As the host, Mo Qishan was immediately approached by a servant as soon as he got downstairs, who wanted to discuss the details of the birthday banquet with him. Ai Yang smiled, Go on, Brother Mo, I can manage on my own. Mo Qishan hesitated for a moment, then said, I shall return shortly. Okay. Ai Yang nodded. Ai Yang was a beauty who had drawn the attention of countless admirers. However, she exuded innate nobility, and given this was the Mo family's turf, not many people dared to offend her. Ai Yang sat on the sofa, eating delicate pastries and listening to the conversation among the rich wives and daughters of the wealthy families. Who was wearing a stunning diamond ring? Who was dressed in this year's trendiest fashion? When it came to trendy dresses, the rich wives and daughters all turned their eyes towards Li Xianxian in the middle of the hall. To be precise, they were focused on the dress Li Xianxian was wearing. Li Xianxian was wearing a stunning one-shoulder dress today. Designed in a gradient of blue and white colors, a layer of transparent organza was additionally adorning the dress, making the patterns on the skirt somewhat visible yet somewhat hidden. With every step she took, the organza ebbed and flowed, as if she was strolling in the clouds. It was elegantly enchanting, capturing all the attention. It far surpassed any traditional evening gown within the country. On top of that, Li Xianxian's makeup was entirely appropriate. It was neither thick nor theatrical, just right. Along with the beautiful dress, it was definitely the most dazzling existence. Mo Romping and Xiao Jiao were watching Li Xianxian from a distance, their faces displaying their satisfaction. This kid isn't bad, she can definitely hold her own in such an environment. She made a matchless pair with Baichuan. A daughter of a prosperous family approached Li Xianxian, looking at her with envy. Xianxian, this dress of yours is stunning. Where did you get it? Li Xianxian answered gently, Thank you, Miss Zhao. I made this dress myself. She made it herself? Upon hearing this, the other rich wives and heiresses were taken aback. This Li Xianxian is too incredible. She was able to make such a beautiful dress. Sister Xianxian, you're so incredibly talented. Could you teach me when you have some spare time? A young girl wearing a qipao joined them, pulling Li Xiangxian's arm with a brilliant smile, her beautiful eyes shining, and a dimple appearing charmingly on her cheek. Li Xianxian, who everyone previously thought was dazzling, was totally lost in the background the moment this girl appeared. This was like a bright star suddenly losing its shine. And the young lady in the qipao next to Li Xianxian was like an irresistibly brilliant moon. Without comparison, everyone thought traditional Chinese gowns were a bit old-fashioned. But now Western-style gowns seemed bland compared to the qipao, which proudly showcased an unparalleled national beauty. In front of the grandiose qipao, even the slightest shadow of a Western gown was instantly lost. This is what we call heritage. How could Western culture ever compare to the heritage passed down through 5,000 years of Chinese civilization? Watching the spotlight being completely taken over by Ni Yang, Li Xianxian was grinding her teeth in anger. But she still managed to keep her polite smile. Yang, do I look like a stingy person to you? Of course I would teach you if you really want to learn. Ni Yang smiled lightly, her gaze turning towards the hem of Li Xiangxian's dress, then said, Sister Xianxian, are these flowers on the hem of your dress also hand-embroidered by you? Chapter 240 The Truth About Plotting Against Mo Hudi, Tormenting Li Xianxian 5. Li Xianxian would naturally not miss this opportunity to show off. In today's society, old customs are gradually being forgotten, and there aren't many people who can embroider. Yes, this skirt, from design to production, is all done by me. The flowers are not well embroidered, I'm afraid it might look funny to you. Murmurs of astonishment followed by hearing her words. They all praised Li Xianxian for being so talented. Cha. This Li Xianxian really dares to say anything. Ni Yang subtly raised an eyebrow. The skirt worn by Li Xianxian was one that Ni Yang had seen at a Paris fashion show in her past life, a creation by the famous designer LP named Blue Dream. Taking advantage of her rebirth, Li Xianxian had claimed someone else's work as her own. This kind of theft was really disgusting. Ni Yang kept her composure and had started by praising Li Xianxian enthusiastically. With the addition of everyone else's compliments and fawning, Li Xianxian was on cloud 9. The next second, Ni Yang shifted her tone, adding, I've heard that the song and bien embroidery styles are very similar, but there are also many differences which non-professionals would not be able to identify. May I ask, Sister Xianxian, is the embroidery on this skirt done in the bien or song style? Song embroidery? Bien embroidery? Li Xianxian is not a seamstress. How could she know this? The skirt was indeed her design, but the one who made it was not her. Damn it, now she'd landed herself in a hot soup. However, Li Xianxian quickly regained her composure. After all, everyone present were high society ladies who were not familiar with the intricacies of embroidery. Thinking of this, Li Xianxian was significantly relieved. She laughed and said, It's done in the song style. Ni Yang looked at Li Xianxian with an expression of adoration, excitedly saying, Sister Xianxian, I admire you so much, you even know how to do the complex song embroidery. Li Xianxian patted Ni Yang's hand and humbly said, With deep practice even an iron rod could be ground into a needle, it's nothing special. Virtuous, talented and modest. Everyone looked at Li Xianxian with admiration. Nonsense. If you don't understand embroidery, don't pretend to be skilled and mislead others. That is clearly Suzhou embroidery. Suddenly, an aged voice with a stern tone rang through the room. Everyone looked towards the speaker and found it to be Old Lady Zheng. The always amiable Old Lady Zheng now looked as stern as a changed person, glaring at Li Xianxian. Old Lady Zheng, raising her walking stick, slowly walked towards Li Xianxian, pointedly saying, Young people should remain grounded. Old Lady Zheng is native to Su City, her family had been silk dealers for generations, once specifically providing embroidery for the imperial court. Her family still preserved a plaque written by Emperor Qianlong himself, thus her words carried extraordinary weight. If this skirt was really made by Li Xianxian herself, would she not even know the type of embroidery used? Old Lady Zheng deeply valued embroidery and detested young people who, under the guise of understanding embroidery, misled others with pretentious bragging. Today Li Xianxian truly touched a raw nerve. Upon hearing this, Li Xianxian turned pale. The other's gaze also changed. From initial shock and admiration, it turned to ridicule and disdain. These looks were like knives, revealing the most rotten part of Li Xiangxian's inner self. Li Xiangxian's back was now covered with layers of cold sweat. At this point she wished she could just burrow into the ground. The torment of being skinned alive through people's gaze was really unbearable. It was all Ni Yang's fault. This damnable girl set a trap and she fell right in. After 1,000 calculations, Li Xianxian never expected old lady Zheng to be in the crowd. This meddlesome old hag. When Mo Rongping and his wife saw the scene, their satisfied expressions vanished in an instant. His wife Xiao Jiao shook her head saying, "This girl is not good, she is too pretentious. She is not suitable for our Chuan Chuan." Mo Rongping nodded, "I also think that our mother was mistaken this time. Where was this girl worthy of being the daughter-in-law of the Mo family?" After lecturing Li Xianxian, old lady Zheng noticed Ai Yang. Her expression immediately softened again. Holding Ai Yang's hands she said, "Good child, you're here too." Every time she saw this child, old lady Zheng felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. "Old lady Zheng." Ai Yang courteously responded. Chapter 241 The Truth About Plotting Against Mo Hudi, Tormenting Li Xianxian 6. Madame Zheng smiled and replied, "My dear child, don't call me old lady. Just call me grandma. Our Xianjing is about the same age as you." Ai Yang, ever the sweet talker, immediately addressed her as grandma. Seeing Madame Zheng's response, Li Xianxian became even more frustrated. Why did everyone seem to favor Ai Yang? Was she predestined to be a stepping stone for Ai Yang? Ai Yang deserved to die. Madame Zheng deserved to die. The whole lot of them deserved to die. Xianxian. Just then a hand gripped Li Xianxian's wrist. Li Xianxian looked up and saw Baichuan shining brilliantly. "Baichuan," she sighed as she tightened her grip on his hand. She still had Baichuan. As long as she held a place in Baichuan's heart, she hadn't lost. "Come with me. I'm going to introduce you to my parents," Baichuan said, leading Li Xianxian away. Baichuan did this on purpose. He deliberately walked away with Li Xianxian in front of Ai Yang, hoping to provoke Ai Yang's jealousy. In Baichuan's view, the only reason Ai Yang had embarrassed Li Xianxian in public was because of him. Why else would Ai Yang have provoked Li Xianxian for no reason? What Baichuan didn't expect, however, was that Ai Yang would not cast him even a single glance. Is she still playing? Baichuan's eyes dimmed and without realizing it, his grip tightened. "Air!" Li Xianxian gasped involuntarily, hurt by his strong grasp. Was Baichuan gripping her wrist so tightly because he was afraid of losing her? Yes, it must be so. With this comforting thought in mind, Li Xianxian glanced coyly at Baichuan, her eyes full of playfulness. Knowing that she was about to meet her future parents-in-law, Li Xianxian's heart raced with excitement. "Mom, Dad, this is Xianxian," Baichuan introduced Li Xianxian to Mo Rongping and Xiao Jiao. But Mo Rongping and Xiao Jiao's attitude wasn't as enthusiastic as Li Xianxian had expected. They merely nodded politely then quickly excused themselves. They didn't even initiate a conversation with Li Xianxian. What was going on? Li Xianxian, who had managed to stay calm, instantly paled. She couldn't shake the feeling that Baichuan's parents didn't seem to like her. But she was the chosen future daughter-in-law of the Mo family. Baichuan's gaze unwittingly swept over Ai Yang. Seeing Ai Yang walking over in high spirits, chatting and laughing with Madame Zheng, he lowered his head to Li Xianxian and said, "You shouldn't care too much about my parents' attitudes. They're just like that." Comforted by Baichuan's words, Li Xianxian felt at ease. She gave a soft nod and said, "I understand." The sight of Baichuan walking hand in hand with Li Xianxian aroused envy in many of prominent families' daughters. Baichuan, the most eligible bachelor in the Mo family. Baichuan was near perfect, his only flaw being his taste in women. How could he fancy someone like Li Xianxian who was so vain and pretentious? Despite parading Li Xianxian all over the hall, Baichuan failed to attract a single glance from Ai Yang. As 10 minutes ticked by, he felt increasingly frustrated. He loosened his tie, let go of Li Xianxian's hand, and made his way to the upstairs study citing some work-related reason. Li Xianxian, always understanding, followed suit. "Baichuan, let me accompany you. Perhaps I can be of some help." Without turning back, Baichuan said, "No need. I can handle it myself." Disappointed, Li Xianxian halted, standing there, gazing at Baichuan's receding figure in a daze. Zheng Xianjing, naturally in attendance at such an important banquet, wasn't by Madame Zheng's side. She was off looking for Mo Qishan. She would never pass up an opportunity for some time alone with Mo Qishan. Her perseverance paid off, eventually leading her to Mo Qishan at the back of the Mo residence. "Uncle Mo," Zheng Xianjing greeted, rushing towards him with a smile. Mo Qishan subtly stepped back to maintain some distance from Zheng Xianjing. Do you need something? Uncle Mo, what are you so busy with? Is there anything I can help you with?" Zheng Xianjing continued asking. "No need." Mo Qishan abruptly began walking back to the main hall. Uncle Mo, Zheng Xianjing hurried forward to keep pace with him. Don't walk so fast, I can hardly keep up with you. Mo Qixin turned back irritably and retorted, why are you being such a pesky fly? Can't you back off a bit? If Ni Yang noticed this, he'd be in mortal trouble, even the Yellow River would not be enough to cleanse him. With a pitiful face, Zheng Xianjing sighed, her eyes beginning to well up. Uncle Mo, what don't you like about me? I can change. Chapter 242 The Truth About Plotting Against Mo Hudi, Torturing Li Xianxian Under 7 Mo Qixin gave her an up and down look. I'm just a worthless reject who's had his engagement broken off, Miss Zheng. You'd better not waste your time on me. No. You're not worthless. Zheng Xianjing declared firmly, even if the whole world looks down on you, I want. Uncle Mo, in my heart, you're just like a hero. Only someone as blind as Zhao Jingrong would consider Mo Qixin worthless. Just wait. Soon there will be a day of regret for Zhao Jingrong. At that point she will be envied by everyone. With this in mind, a light quickly flashed in Zheng Xianjing's eyes. Hero? Mo Qixin sneered with a curl of his lip. May I ask what heroic deed I've accomplished to move you? To make you so sure that I'm not worthless? Mo Qixin to the outside world is a complete loss. No education. No respectable job. Every day he just idles about, waiting for death. He is avoided by the spoilt rich girls in their circle. Zheng Xianjing knows nothing about Mo Qixin, yet firmly believes that he isn't worthless. These words are just too hypocritical. Zheng Xianjing is so set on him, she must have seen something that she's not supposed to see. In Mo Qixin's heart, Zheng Xianjing and Zhao Jingrong who climbs and steps on people are no different, both carrying a mask of vanity that is just nauseating. Mo Qixin narrowed his eyes inconspicuously. Zheng Xianjing continued, Uncle Mo, I know you're not worthless. One day you will rise to great heights. Stay away from me, Mo Qixin said coldly with a disgusted look in his eyes, you're just making me feel nauseous. Upon finishing his statement, Mo Qixin turned and walked away abruptly. Zheng Xianjing was left stunned. The development of events seemed a bit off. She believed in Mo Qixin so much, he should be very touched. At this time, apart from her, there was no one else who would believe in Mo Qixin. No way. She can't admit defeat so easily. She must hold on to Mo Qixin tightly and get him to stay by her side. Zheng Xianjing turned and followed Mo Qixin out the door. As soon as she reached the lobby, she saw a very disturbing scene. There she saw Ni Yang, the little wench, affectionately addressing Madame Zheng as grandma. Madame Zheng was beside herself with joy. Zheng Xianjing knew Madame Zheng all too well. She knew Madame Zheng's smile was genuinely happy. This damn old lady. Does she even know who her real granddaughter is? Ni Yang, that little wench, was absolutely shameless too, daring to call Madame Zheng grandma. Who did she think she was? Zheng Xianjing swallowed her anger and walked over to Madame Zheng with a smile. Grandma, young divine doctor. Xianjing is here. Madame Zheng warmly took Zheng Xianjing's hand. Just look, I just acknowledged a younger sister for you. Don't call me divine doctor anymore, it's too formal, just call her sister, it's much better. Madame Zheng genuinely liked Ni Yang, otherwise she wouldn't have said so. Damn old woman. Zheng Xianjing cursed Madame Zheng in her heart 1,000 times over, but her voice was still soft when she said, Hello, sister. One should never hit a smiling face. Although Ni Yang knew Zheng Xianjing didn't like her, she still greeted her with a smile. Sister Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing didn't want Madame Zheng and Ni Yang to be alone together. Her intuition told her that if these two were left alone for a long time, something bad was bound to happen. Grandma, it's too stuffy in here. Let me take you out for a walk. Ni Yang, you come too. Madame Zheng pulled Ni Yang along. Since Zheng Xianjing didn't like Ni Yang wasn't going to make herself uncomfortable either. She wasn't a masochist. Grandma, you go with Sister Xianjing. I'm going to find Brother Mo. Brother Mo? Zheng Xianjing narrowed her eyes subtly. Was Ni Yang's brother Mo referring to Mo Qixin or Mo Baichuan? It should be Mo Baichuan, right? A social climber like Ni Yang would surely not see Mo Qixin as worth her time. Thinking about this settled Zheng Xianjing's heart somewhat, and she took Madame Zheng out the door. Ni Yang elegantly walked towards the right side of the lobby. Here Ni Yang had to admit to Li Xianxian's superior socializing skills. Li Xianxian, who was initially disliked by everyone, was now surrounded like a star among a crowd of rich young ladies. Miss Li, you really have a way to buy the limited edition Ice Skin Jade Whitening Moisturizer? Li Xianxian nodded, her tone gentle. Yes, really. Why would I deceive everyone? Miss Li, could you help me get one? I haven't been able to buy a second one since I bought the first. I want one too. Me too. Li Xianxian raised her hand. Don't worry, one at a time. I have some connections with the boss of Ice Skin Jade One believe he will do me a favor. The brand Ice Skin Jade had already gained popularity in the upper social circles, especially the whitening moisturizer, which was highly sought after by this group of people. Because the effects were just too good, and almost as soon as it was produced, it was bought out immediately. Honestly, owning a bottle of whitening moisturizer was a sign of status in this circle. Ni Yang's moisturizer for the next month had already been ordered by a mysterious buyer. Looking at Li Xiangxian's confident look now, this mysterious buyer was probably her. Seeing Xiangxian's confident look, Ni Yang lightly curled her lips. An opportunity to make money was in sight. Chapter 243 Zheng Xianjing, who was almost angry to death, made a fortune. _1 She not only wants to make money, but she also wants to earn a hefty sum. Ni Yang looked at Li Xianxian standing amidst the crowd and suddenly had an idea. She beckoned Mo Hudi, who was playing hide-and-seek with her friends not far away. Shout, I come here. Mo Hudi immediately ran over. Sister Ni Yang? Ni Yang squatted down and whispered something into Mo Hudi's ear. After hearing Ni Yang's words clearly, Mo Hudi nodded her head and thumped her chest. Okay Sister Ni Yang, I promise to complete the mission. Ni Yang patted the top of Mo Hudi's little head. Mo Hudi ran back to the original spot and continued playing hide-and-seek with her friends. Li Xianxian was talking with a group of the rich ladies about skincare products when she suddenly heard someone shouting, Sun Dalian. Sun Dalian. If a person has been called a particular name for a long time, they would unconsciously respond to that name out of habit. An excellent example of this was Li Xianxian. Upon hearing these three words, her first reaction was to turn around and respond, What? At her words, all the rich ladies around her froze. If they did not mishear, the name that was just shouted seemed to be Sun Dalian. What was the relationship between Sun Dalian and Li Xianxian? At this moment, before Li Xianxian could realize anything was wrong, Mo Hudi walked towards her step by step, speaking puzzledly, Sister Xianxian, I was calling Sun Dalian. Could it be your name is Sun Dalian too? At her words, the color drained from Li Xiangxian's face. Unpleasant memories from her past instantly flooded her mind. No, she was not Sun Dalian. She was Li Xianxian. How did Mo Hudi know about the name Sun Dalian? What on earth was going on? No, she must not let anyone know about her past. Li Xianxian forced herself to calm down and laughed. Perhaps Sister Xianxian misheard. Mo Hudi nodded with an appearance of understanding yet not quite understanding. I thought that Sun Dalian was Sister Xiangxian's nickname. No, it's not. Li Xiangxian's expression looked slightly rigid. At this moment, a child ran over. Shout I, were you calling for me just now? Mo Hudi no longer paid attention to Li Xianxian as she left with the child. Yes, let's go continue playing. Watching Mo Hudi's departing figure, Li Xianxian felt cold sweat pouring down her back. Fortunately, it was just a misunderstanding. Ni Yang stood aside with a faint smile in her eyes. She guessed right. Li Xianxian was indeed Sun Dalian, and Sun Dalian was indeed Li Xianxian. The reason why Li Xianxian was desperately trying to hide her past was because there must be something from her past that she didn't want anybody to see. Things were starting to get interesting. The smile in Ni Yang's eyes grew stronger and a slight dimple appeared at the corner of her mouth. It was as if that slight dimple could swallow people up. A tall figure stood by the carved balustrade on the third floor above. He leaned over the balustrade, his gaze lost in the crowd below. To be exact, his gaze was fixed on Ni Yang. Ni Yang. What sort of person was she? Mo Baichuan, who had always looked down on women, was for the first time unable to read a woman. She was obviously trying to get close to him to attract his attention, but whenever he tried to approach her, she kept him at a distance. What was she trying to do? If she truly wasn't interested in him, why was she going to such lengths to trouble Li Xianxian? Claiming not to be interested while she was deliberately making life difficult for Li Xianxian, it was so hypocritical. Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes. The atmosphere downstairs was getting more bustling, and the number of guests was steadily increasing. From the corner of her eye, Li Xianxian saw a regal, well-shaped figure walking in from outside. A glint flashed in her eyes as she quickly approached him. Mr. Song. That's right, it was Song Beiqing. As the only grandson of the Mo family and the heir to the immense Song family business, Li Xianxian needs Song Beiqing's support to secure her position in the Mo family. To survive in the Mo family, she must find a reliable backing. She needs to make Song Beiqing notice her, and even better to make Song Beiqing fall head over heels for her. Song Beiqing is known to be a ladies' man. Catching his attention should be a piece of cake. Isn't that how it's often described in novels? A man who falls for the heroine would sacrifice anything to make her happy. Li Xianxian was confident that she could make Song Beiqing her devoted admirer, willing to give up everything for her. Chapter 244 Zheng Xianjing, almost outraged, made a fortune. _2. Song Beiqing nodded politely at Li Xianxian. Miss Li? Li Xianxian chuckled and said, Mr. Song, there's no need to be so formal, we're already so familiar, you can just call me by my first name. Before Li Xianxian could finish her sentence, something seemed to catch Song Beiqing's eye. He quickly walked towards that direction, excitedly exclaiming, Naiyang! Song Beiqing. And Naiyang gave a faint smile in response to Song Beiqing. And Naiyang. Her again. The unabashed Jezebel. Seeing this, Li Xianxian nearly gnashed her silver teeth in exasperation. She and Song Beiqing still addressed each other as Mr. and Mississippi after all this time. How many days has Naiyang known Song Beiqing? What gave her the right to call him by his full name? All the status and connections Li Xianxian had painstakingly built up within the Mo family over nearly 2 years had been effortlessly snatched away by Naiyang. Li Xianxian was so angry she could have suffocated herself. Observing from the 3rd floor, even Mo Baichuan was surprised to see Naiyang and Song Beiqing so chummy. It was unexpected that Song Beiqing, an infamous playboy, would fall for Naiyang's tricks too. How he had underestimated Naiyang. Aside from the 2 outrageously expensive invitations, Naiyang actually had quite a good impression of Song Beiqing. Song Beiqing was a thoughtful man with a witty way of speaking. His dialogues expressed no condescension towards women. As the 2 were engrossed in their conversation, a deep voice suddenly interrupted them, Yang Yang. Turning her head, Naiyang saw that the man was Mo Qishan. Brother Mo? Uncle. Song Beiqing also greeted him respectfully. Although Mo Qishan was known as good for nothing in the circle, Song Beiqing was quite respectful to his uncle. They generally got along well. Mo Qishan chuckled, Beiqing, I just saw the misses of the Wang and Zhao families looking for you over there. Upon hearing this, Song Beiqing visibly flinched, quickly covering his face with his hands. He whispered in a low voice, Uncle, keep an eye out for me, I'll go and hide at my grandmother's place. If they come looking here, tell them I didn't come. Mo Qishan nodded, acting like a concerned elder. Don't worry, just go. Be more careful in the future. Fearing those women would find him, Song Beiqing hastily departed. Mo Qishan turned to Naiyang, continuing, My nephew is a good man, handsome and virtuous. But he has one flaw, he loves to flirt. Yang, be careful if you continue to associate with him. This kid is quite a womanizer. Even though Mo Qishan was only 2 years older than Song Beiqing, he acted like a sagely elder when dispensing this advice. Like a monarch pointing at the map of his empire. Poor Song Beiqing had no idea his beloved uncle was going behind his back. Naiyang nodded, I understand, Brother Mo. Yang, Mo Qishan continued, I've finished most of my work, let's take a stroll. Okay. Naiyang turned and followed Mo Qishan's footsteps. Watching the retreating figures of Naiyang and Mo Qishan, most of Li Xianxian's anger dissipated instantly. Seems she needed to instigate a relationship between these 2. A lowly creature like Naiyang deserved a waist like Mo Qishan. Li Xianxian slowly let a smile curl upon her lips. Mo Qishan led Naiyang to the garden in the back of the Mo family villa. Even though it was winter, the greenhouse was in full bloom, perfuming the air with the fragrance of spring. When they returned to the front hall, the birthday celebration had officially begun. The matriarch of the Mo family sat in the master's seat, graciously receiving the blessings of her descendants. The Mo family was a traditional household that observed the custom of formal bows, meaning the younger generations had to prostrate themselves before the birthday honoree. The matriarch had 5 sons and 2 daughters, minus 1 daughter who had passed away. She had more than 20 descendants. The sight of them all kneeling together was quite a spectacle. At that moment, 2 blonde, blue-eyed foreigners from F country entered. Seeing the 2 foreigners, Zheng Xianjing became excited and anxious, knowing that they had certainly come looking for Mo Qishan. Simultaneously, she worried about Mo Qishan's identity being revealed, attracting even more women to vie for him. What advantage would she have then? Thinking about this, Zheng Xianjing was filled with trepidation. But things did not turn out as Zheng Xianjing had feared. The 2 foreigners walked past Mo Qishan, approached the matriarch and slightly bowed, saying, Madame Mo, I am Morris. This is my colleague Morris. We are assistants to Mr. Mog. Today we are here on Mr. Mog's behalf to congratulate you on your birthday, wishing you endless prosperity and a longevity that rivals the southern mountain. Chapter 245. Zheng Xianjing almost died of anger, made a big profit. 3. Meanwhile, Morris prepared a birthday gift for Madame Mo in advance. Mr. Mog? At the mention of this name, a gasp of surprise resonated from the crowd. Such an esteemed Mr. Mog. When did the Mo family establish a relationship with Mr. Mog? Standing by Mo Baichuan, Li Xiangxian's lips twitched upward slightly. Although she had never met Mr. Mog, her memories from her previous life provided knowledge most average people lacked. Mr. Mog's last name is Mo, hailing from the Mo family in Beijing. Because of his low-key behavior, he has always remained out of the media limelight. In the Mo family aside Mo Baichuan, who else could possibly be Mr. Mog? The Mo family's 4 sons were too old and did not fit Mr. Mog's age range. Mo Qishan, the only one left, was a good-for-nothing. Mr. Mog is a graduate of a prestigious foreign university, but Mo Qishan didn't even complete high school. He doesn't even qualify to tie Mr. Mog's shoes. Therefore, in the entire Mo family, only Mo Baichuan could possibly be Mr. Mog. This is because Mo Baichuan had spent 4 years abroad, which meets the qualifications of Mr. Mog's prestigious university degree. Before Li Xianxian got close to the Mo family, she had already clearly figured these details out. Mr. Mog's visit to offer birthday gifts to Madame Mo today only confirmed Li Xiangxian's belief that Mo Baichuan is indeed Mr. Mog. Just the thought that she was favored by such a heavy hitter filled Li Xianxian with more and more excitement. What she couldn't get in her previous life, she would now grasp firmly in this lifetime. Madame Mo had also heard of the famous Mr. Mog. She stood to receive the gift from Morris' hand and chuckled, "Please extend my thanks to Mr. Mog." Actually, Madame Mo was somewhat puzzled. Why would Mr. Mog suddenly send her a birthday gift? After all, before this, there was no interaction between the Mo family and Mr. Mog. However, Mr. Mog's act of sending birthday gifts today did save the Mo family a lot of face. Marcus said, "Our Mr. Mog is a junior in front of you, and it is only appropriate that we offer you a birthday gift. As it's not convenient for Mr. Mog to personally celebrate your birthday, he had us two come on his behalf. We hope Madame Mo won't mind." Madame Mo chuckled and replied, "Not at all, it's an honor for both of you that Mr. Mog is here. After all, he is Mr. Mog. 100 Mo families would still not compare to Mr. Mog." For a while, Morris and Marcus became the center of everyone's attention. Everyone wanted to establish a connection with Mr. Mog. If they couldn't meet him in person, they'd settle with pleasing his 2 assistants. Li Xianxian observed these people with a cold eye, full of contempt in her heart. Without meeting Mr. Mog, what's the use of pleasing 2 assistants? She just wondered what kind of expressions they would wear when these people found out that Mr. Mog was actually Mo Baichuan. That would definitely be a sight to behold. Zheng Xianjing stole a glance at Mo Qishan and found him extremely reserved. Despite being Mr. Mog, he still maintained a low profile. Fortunately, she had found out everything ahead of time. Otherwise, she too would have become one of the many fools. Seeing Yang standing next to Mo Qishan, Zheng Xianjing's eyes darkened for a moment. Damn slut. Why was she standing at the side of Mo Qishan? This wasn't right. She must teach this little slut a lesson today. She would make her understand that a country bumpkin should know their own place. Zheng Xianjing approached Madame Mo and said with a smile, "Grandma Mo, I have prepared a surprise for you." Madame Mo's face was filled with kindness as she asked, "Oh? What surprise has Xianjing prepared for Grandma?" A servant brought over a box. Zheng Xianjing opened the box and continued, "I know Grandma Mo is a devout Buddhist, so I specifically purchased an enlightened strand of top-grade Zetan Buddha beads. I hope Grandma won't find it shoddy." This strand of Buddha beads was smooth with distinct patterns and top-tier quality. It couldn't be bought without tens of thousands of yuan. That's why Zheng Xianjing was so confident. She had already learned that Yang was just a country bumpkin. What sort of decent birthday gift could a country bumpkin come up with? Madame Mo laughed and said, "Not shoddy at all, how could it be? Xianjing, you are really thoughtful." Zheng Xianjing accordingly responded, "I should respect Grandma Mo." Saying this, she turned her gaze to Yang, adding gently, "The gift in Sister Yang's hand, is it prepared for Grandma Mo? I've heard Sister Yang is modest and has a unique perspective. Surely the gift you've prepared for Grandma Mo would also be original. Why not show it now and let the rest of us broaden our horizons?" Chapter 246. Zheng Xianjing, who nearly died of anger, made a fortune. For witnessing a spectacle? More like a laughingstock. Zheng Xianjing is eager to see Ni Yang being ridiculed. With Zheng Xianjing's Buddha beads made of zetan wood going for tens of thousands, it wouldn't matter what Ni Yang would present, it would be a joke. Ni Yang calmly walked up to Zheng Xianjing. Then I need a little help from you, Xianjing. As soon as she finished speaking, she opened a long paper box in her hands, took out a painting scroll from inside, handed one end to Zheng Xianjing while she grabbed the other, slowly unfolding the scroll. Zheng Xianjing narrowed her eyes in doubt. Did Ni Yang actually prepare a famous painting? Impossible. How could a country bumpkin possibly afford renowned artwork? As the painting scroll was revealed, the smile on Granny Mo's face gradually turned into shock. Lin Pingping was even more surprised, covering her mouth with her hand. Granny Mo looked at Ni Yang. Yang, did you draw this yourself? Ni Yang nodded. Unlike Xianjing, I'm not as lavish, so I could only make a painting of longevity personally to present to Auntie Mo, wishing her a mountain of longevity, equal to heaven, boundless, prosperous life, infinite life span. Good. What a thoughtful child you are. Granny Mo repeated good 3 times, took the painting scroll of longevity in both hands, and displayed it for others to see. The painting showed a large character longevity. When you looked closely, you realized that this longevity was built by 100 smaller longevity characters. Moreover, these 100 longevity characters were written in 100 different styles, including seal script, clerical script, regular script, skinny gold script, cursive script, and so on. Most notably, each longevity character was beautifully written. Regardless its style, you couldn't identify a single error. Clearly, creating such a longevity painting required considerable time and effort. Also, only someone with real skill could create this longevity painting. If it wasn't witnessed firsthand, who would believe such a longevity painting could be drawn by a young girl's hand? This is unbelievable. Anyone who saw this longevity painting was like Granny Mo. Their eyes sparkled with shock. A rise of whispered gossip spread among the crowd. Mo Chishan's eyes were filled with pride. His wife was just amazing. Zheng Xianjing was so angry she was about to explode. She originally wanted to see Ni Yang make a fool of herself, but now her scheme had backfired, and Ni Yang ended up taking the spotlight. Why didn't she think of gifting Granny Mo a longevity painting? If she had gifted the longevity painting to Granny Mo first, wouldn't she be the one stealing the limelight? There'd be no chance for Ni Yang. Why should Ni Yang take all the glory? When the banquet started, Granny Mo deliberately arranged for Ni Yang to sit on her right, indicating her importance. Mo Chishan sat next to Ni Yang, fearing she might feel too restrained to help herself, so he continually served her food and poured her drinks. Strangely, Ni Yang did not dislike his actions, and instead occasionally whispered to him, portraying an intimate relationship, giving Granny Mo an immense joy. Excellent. She knew there is promise between these two. Some are jubilant, others are sorrowful. Mo Baichuan felt more and more irritated watching Ni Yang and Mo Kishin's interaction. Blind. Ni Yang was blind. Even if she wanted to provoke him, she shouldn't have picked Mo Chishan. If Ni Yang could provoke him, then he could also provoke her. With that thought, Mo Baichuan reached out and clipped a large shrimp into Li Xiangxian's bowl. Seeing the shrimp in her bowl, Li Xianxian was immensely flattered. She didn't expect the ice-cold Mo Baichuan would serve her personally. Indeed, even the proudest man would drop all pretenses when facing the woman he likes. Baichuan, thank you. Li Xianxian looked at Mo Baichuan affectionately. You're welcome. Mo Baichuan wiped his mouth with a handkerchief, his gaze unintentionally sweeping over Ni Yang. Li Xianxian noticed a subtle change in Mo Baichuan's expression. Her eyes tightened immediately. Did he notice that little slut? Li Xiangxian's grip on her chopsticks tightened. Of course, not only Li Xianxian felt bad, Zheng Xianjing could have bored holes with how she stared at Ni Yang. Chapter 247. Zheng Xianjing, who nearly passed out in anger, made a big profit. _5. She had exhausted all her schemes and yet couldn't get any closer to Mo Chishan. Why was it that Ni Yang could make it to heaven in one step and win Mo Kishin's favor? Just then, a sharp gaze from Mo Chishan drew across, causing Zheng Xianjing to tremble all over, nearly dropping her chopsticks. Immediately, she quickly withdrew her gaze, daring not to take another glance at Ni Yang. After dinner, Mo Chishan took Ni Yang home. It was a winter evening and by 4:30, it was already dark. It was very cold outside. Mo Chishan found a scarf for Ni Yang and wrapped it around her. It's too cold today, why don't I just drive you home? Ni Yang smiled and said, No need, cycling is just fine, I'm wearing a lot so I'm not cold at all. Compared to cars, Yang preferred the leisurely bicycle. Grandma Mo followed behind, instructing Mo Chishan to make sure to take Yang home safely. She also told Yang to come and visit when she had time. Yang said, "Okay, I will come often. It's cold outside, you should go in." Grandma Mo nodded and took a few steps inside, then suddenly stopped as if she remembered something. "Wait. Yang, you guys wait." Yang and Mo Chishan stopped in confusion. Grandma Mo continued, "Wait here for me for 2 minutes." After she spoke, she briskly darted inside the house. A moment later she came out holding a red gift box. Yang, take this back and let your mom taste it." Grandma Mo shoved the red gift box into Yang's hands. A return gift for a birthday banquet couldn't be refused, so Yang didn't refuse and accepted it after thanking her. She didn't know what was in the gift box, but it was pretty heavy in her hand. Yang sat on the back of the bicycle holding the gift box. Yang, are you ready?" "Ready." Yang freed one hand to grab onto Mo Kishin's clothes. "Then let's go." This era was not like what it would be in the future. After it got dark, there were hardly any people on the street, the road was deserted and extremely quiet. Looking at the deserted street, Yang asked, "Brother Mo, will you be scared when you go back by yourself later?" Mo Chishan laughed and said, "No, if you're scared, just close your eyes." Yang shook her head, "I am not scared." The smile on Mo Kishin's face deepened, and the speed of the bike got faster. The howling cold wind blew past her cheeks, and Yang slightly lowered her head, hiding her face behind him. It was warm and there was a sense of security. When Yang got home, Tsuehua and Chingue were already eating dinner. Although Quihua's cooking skills weren't as good as Yang's, the dishes she fried were beyond reproach. "Mom and I am home." Yang walked in from outside with the gift box. Tsuehua stood up and said, Yang, you're back? Haven't you eaten yet? I'll get a rice bowl for you." Yang smiled and said, "Mom, you don't need to worry, I already ate." "That's good." Tsuehua sat back down to eat. Chingue looked up at Yang and teased, Yang, who sent you back just now?" Yang smiled slightly, didn't you already guess?" Chingue continued, Yang, Auntie really thinks that young man Xiaoma is good. Let's not talk about anything else, just look at his face, who among the handsome actors on TV can compare with him?" Yang said, "I'm still young and not considering those things yet. By the way, Grandma Mo gave me a return gift to bring back, let's see what's inside." As she finished her sentence, Yang began to open the red gift box. Chingui's eyes were instantly attracted to the gift box. This was a return gift from a well-off family, where could she ever see this normally? Inside the gift box was a luxuriously tied king crab, and a bunch of pastries and candies. Chingue exclaimed in surprise, "My word! I have never seen such a big spider in my lifetime. Can this even be eaten?" "Yang's mom, have you ever seen such a big spider?" What a peculiar big household, the return gift for a birthday banquet actually was a big spider. Tsuehua shook her head, "I have never seen it either, is it going to cultivate into spirit?" Beijing was up north and far from the sea, the transportation in this era was underdeveloped, so it was hard for people to see seafood. Something like king crab was even unheard of. Therefore it was normal for Tsuehua and Chingue not to recognize the king crab. Yang laughed as she explained, "Mom and this is a king crab, a crab species that grows at depths of 850 meters in the deep sea." Chapter 248. Zheng Xianjing, who almost died of anger, made a big profit. _6. Chingue paused for a moment, then asked, "A crab? Good heavens! This was the first time she'd ever heard of such a crab existing in the world. It looked just like a giant spider." Yang nodded, "Yes, it's a type of crab." Tsuehua poked at the back of the king crab, curiously asking, Yang, can we eat this crab?" "Yes, it's edible," Yang replied with a smile. "This type of crab has thick meat, a delicious flavor, and is at least 10 times better than ordinary crabs. It's known as the king of crabs, that's why it's called the king crab." Chingue exclaimed in surprise, "Then this type of crab must be very expensive, right? I haven't looked into the exact price, but it shouldn't be cheap. In the future world, king crab would be sold at a staggering price of 1,000 yuan per gene, which ordinary families could hardly afford. In this era of undeveloped transportation, king crab must be even more expensive." Yang never expected that Grandmother Mo's return gift would be a king crab. No wonder the gift box felt quite heavy when she carried it. Knowing what Ni Yang just said, Ni Qingui realized the king crab must be very expensive and she sighed. Affluent families are really different. They not only gift crabs but also high-grade king crabs, and even their pastries and candies are imported. 1 pound of these candies could probably match her monthly salary. Indeed, there should be no comparison between people. When she finished speaking, Ni Qingui gripped Ni Yang's wrist and earnestly said, Yang, you must certainly hold on to Xiaoma dearly. Ni Yang laughed. Auntie and I, no matter how good the husband, their stuff will always be theirs. What if he decides to divorce me when I grow old? Wouldn't it turn out to be just a burst of happiness? Therefore I think a girl should still rely on herself. As long as she has her own money, she won't have to marry someone for their money in the future. Ni Qingui sighed. That's true. Ni Yang, despite her young age, understood things no less than those older than her. She even looked further into the future than some of them. Marrying a wealthy man is not as good as being wealthy oneself. This statement was too true. After some thought, Ni Qingui added, but I think Xiaoma probably isn't that kind of person. Ni Yang just laughed without commenting, then asked, by the way, Auntie and I, do you remember that a mysterious buyer had ordered 30 boxes of whitening moisturizer from me through you? Ni Qingui nodded. I remember. What about it? Auntie and I, could you tell her tomorrow that the price of the whitening moisturizer has gone up? If she wants to buy it, it's now 800 yuan a box and she has to pay the full amount before I can give it to her. Ni Yang's expression was calm, not minding the high price of 800 yuan. 800 yuan? This number did surprise Ni Qingui. Yang, has the price of the whitening moisturizer increased? Ni Yang shook her head. The original price is still the same for others, only for that mysterious buyer it is 800 yuan. Li Xianxian had boasted in front of a crowd of wealthy young ladies, and Ni Yang was curious to see if Li Xianxian would be willing to pay this price. Ni Qingui was a smart woman and she guessed the situation. Well, will she buy it? People nowadays are all very shrewd. 800 yuan is a sum that ordinary people would take several years to earn, unless the buyer is a fool. And even if the buyer is really foolish, it does not necessarily mean she has that much money. Remember, 30 bottles amount to more than 20,000 yuan. Ni Yang smiled. If she doesn't buy it, there are a bunch of people waiting in line. Also, Auntie and I, don't give her any information about me. Ni Qingui nodded. Sure, Yang, I understand. The next morning, Ni Yang went to the noodle restaurant. After several days of renovation, the neighboring shop was almost ready. Ni Yang assigned all the work of buying tables, chairs, plaques and such to Wang Tiniu, and gave him 200 yuan. Being reliable, Wang Tiniu took others to the furniture factory and bought over a dozen tables and chairs the same day. He made sure that Ni Yang didn't have to worry about the rest of the finishing work. The men cleaned up the neighbor's shop entirely, just waiting for Ni Yang to choose an opening day. Since Ni Yang trusted them so much, they couldn't let her down. Yang, this is the change from the purchase of materials. Wang Tiniu returned the remaining 30 yuan to Ni Yang. Ni Yang smilingly refused. Uncle Tiniu, you can use this 30 yuan to buy some cigarettes and alcohol to split amongst the other uncles. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.